Right.
Action.
So, I'm here with Julian, who did 23 years in so many prisons in this country, he's lost count. So, how did that start then, Julian?
First, I did look at your story, by the way. Also, you're very tall for the viewers. You're very like when you watch you on online or whatever. I don't know. There's something like as if you're small.
Because I'm sat next to Wildman.
Yeah, well,
Wildman's like this big.
Is it?
So people think I'm a height disadvantaged person.
Well, for everybody, when I see you, you're 6 foot. You're pretty imposing character, but with a lovely heart. Like,
thank you, man.
I heard your story, and mate, I'm thinking, how did this geezer make it fucking in America? I better go over there myself and take over, and I thought, like, I had a terrible attitude, Shaun, of like everyone in language of London dialect is like everyone's a fucking mackerel. There was a Cockney tone to it, right? So those that don't understand, I'll explain that. But I speak now, it's still London, but we grew up around Cockney rhyming slang, and I didn't even know what it was myself.
So explain that for the Americans then.
Well, that's exactly it. There's a language in London, what the Americans may hear, like us, there's a posh, isn't there? They assume that like the Queen's language, it's like, I'll say, well, no, let me tell you, there's a lot of like mental, verbal dialect Cockney as well. There's levels of how we speak, and in my area of southeast London, which is very much, if you're from an area like Brooklyn, New York, you're very proud of it. We was as well.
That's Brixton.
Yeah, Brixton, right? So that was Southwest 2, moving into Campbell, not far away, Southeast 5. It's moving into East London. So London is really small, really, for the Americans. Like when on the map, we're at touch next to the States. So like my experience, going back just to the beginning, I might just go back to the beginning and keep it
childhood.
Simple. It wasn't. It was 23 years of I can look at a life of insanity. However, there was an element, obviously, of love. Like there's an element. There's 5 of us kids. I was the only one to get into trouble. So Anna was at the point of the beginning. I'll explain. Anna was 14 and a half. I was 12. Joe, my brother, was 7, and the twins were babies. They were 2. So basically, right, that was when I run the streets like a crazy person, because I'll explain why. Right, it's important, because I wasn't no gangster. This delusion of gangster, this delusion of like the ghetto, the inner cities, what is it? The hood. It's all bullshit. We are skint, mate. We ain't got nothing, and it's like there's like you're back in the hood. I understand. But who's helping us? There was no one helping us. It just felt so lonely and isolated. It felt like I had no option but to steal. I'll explain it.
And this is from age 12.
This is from 12. This is 12. But what happened in them 12 years, which is important, was Mum's from Ireland. She come over when she was 13. She had polio. So in them days you die. So apparently there's a sense of attachment and codependency of my mother. I don't like using them words, but she was very attached to her mother. She was the youngest. The other 2, my aunties, both died last year as it goes, was 10 and 15 years older than my mum. So 15, 10, and my mum was born. So when she got polio, she was attached. You would be, anyone would be. So, she's attached to her mum, and there was a sense of, we think that, she's not very good by herself mentally, God, I don't really want to watch this, but like, she's okay now. A long, long time that was, but like, that's how she brought up. So it wasn't really anything that dramatic. Polio is dramatic, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just like she didn't get shot or anything, or didn't go on armed robberies or anything. Her way, her stuff was her stuff. She was very vulnerable, very innocent, my mum. So when she come to London, and she worked in a shop, whatever. She met my dad, who'd also come from Malta. So have you heard of Malta?
Yep.
Near Sicily. I always slip the Sicily in for the gangster image. I'm not really from Sicily, but when people say, "Where's your dad from?" I think, fuck Malta. Not many people know it. Sicily. Like, what nutcase, Sicily? Oh, yeah, you connected, are you? No, I'm not. But anyway, my dad comes over because he gets kicked out of Malta as a result of stealing and running the streets. In Malta back then, his dad died when he was only 9. So where he died, it left my dad with 13 other kids running the streets. So that running the streets in Malta meant that as soon as he stole and they caught him, because it's such a small island, they fucking sent him to Australia. And like, do you ever heard of them days when they was doing that? They were sending people to Australia.
Convicts.
It's something like that. I don't know the full story of that.
You got sentenced to Australia.
Yeah, and then he ended up going to London. So basically, cut it short, now you got an idea. Mum and Dad ended up coming to London. They met. They had a little pokey, and out I come along with 4 others, right? So I'm the second oldest, right? So basically, we found out very quickly, right, that their marriage wasn't very healthy. This is the story of what we've heard and what I know, obviously. And my dad, he better not be listening to this either. He couldn't keep it in his pants, you know, and he was a gambler and stuff like that. What it is that's not the issue. See, my dad, I've got no feeling of like resentment or no like blame. I did have for quite a while, you know, in my teen years into my 20s, I did have. But now over the last 15 years, because there's a separation, 12 to 35, and then transformation occurred. So 15 years, I'm 50 now. So it kind of goes in them stages. So that I did really not like him. You know, I love my mother. She used to visit me in prisons and stuff like that. But he just didn't have any tools for living. Let's put it that way. He would react to a flirt. He would go with it. He didn't have any principles or values. That's what I think. And he's not guilty for that because his dad died at 43. Do you get that little pattern?
Yeah.
So I think it's all, and I have a sadness. Exactly. Your face went, so does mine. You know, back then it didn't, but like now, obviously, you know, I feel and understand for him. So that moved on to me. So that lineage, that's important. That's the basis of life. People talk about, oh, you know, it's not really about your external circumstances. It's about your mental state. No. If someone is abusing you, right, and you ain't, you know, you're not passing, you know, not passing on maybe, like asking for help, you're going to pass that on to the next generation. And an insanity of families. And I think the world is dramatic, but look out today. I'm not putting people in categories no more. We're all fucked, mind my language. I don't think, I mean, it's a battle. Life's a battle, you know, in the prison system, the people, like, pure nothing but empathy. A lot of people are just going to die in that. Mentally, spiritually blocked. There's no way they can, you know, let go and be the man that they want to be, that God wants us to be, if you like. The God concept for me is about consciousness and awareness, not a box, you know, not anything like religion. I don't agree. Go off of your religion.
So growing up in Brixton,
I cooperate.
At that age, what was that like then for you with your family?
That was I was extremely felt shy. I remember just feeling shy, but I was really good at football. I played for Millwall, Brentford and Watford. So I was training with them 8, 9, 10 around that age. But see, that's where my dad used to take me sometimes, right? So that's where my mind would forget that, you know, at certain times. Like, and then I realised he tried his best he could, right? Yeah. So mum was on, like, you know, antidepressants and stuff like this. This is the internal stuff that you don't really like people don't talk about. And she had these anxiety issues and some other issues around psychological, which, you know, she'd react at times. They would argue a lot. Us kids would see the arguing. There was no violence, but what it was a lot of verbal. There was a lot of emotional separation and hurt and anger. My mum would often be left hurt. She'd find out again. So the point of that is, I think, of explaining that, if I would have been nurtured, I'll just jump to my sister a minute. My sister saw what happened to me. So her boys, she went every week. She said, I remember what happened to Julian, which is pretty sad. She remembers like that I didn't have anyone and they were saying, I could have been a professional, shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. So anyway, so basically the final straw, the explosion was this. This is like a bit of therapy, really, isn't it? Right? The explosion was my mum and her 2 sisters went to Laysdown. That was a little holiday back then, you know?
Yeah.
With her mum and dad, my nan and granddad, and the men, my dad and the 2 other, my uncles, they stayed at home looking after their kids. On that holiday, my mum, who's so attached to her mum, she died of a brain hemorrhage. She died in my mum's arms. So in her arms, she said, my nan said, Pauline, I never went to mass today because they was big on that. And my mum remembers that, you know. She said, I remember the moon. And then what happened is, as she like literally passed, she had it smashed. She died on the spot. My mum just run. She just saw it. She said she said the act of contrition, which is some prayer. She remembered that. So and then my mum run, you know, and she just run into the wilderness. And all I remember is being woken up to my dad saying, wake up, your nan's dead. I remember thinking that he said it like really aggressively for some reason for years. But anyway, he said that. He said, wake up, your nan's passed. Well, from that moment on, right, my mum come home, she was really ill. You know, she's just, you know, to describe it, what could I say? But guess what? My dad left her that week with 5 kids, left her on her own. She was already struggling before that with his behaviour. So men, you know, need to get a fucking good look at themselves, you know, they have a good look at yourselves, what we're doing with kids here, because that's not my experience now. You know, there was years when I was missing back, got to reel me in, chaps. When he left for another woman, right? So I remember my mum going into St. Giles, which is a psychiatric hospital. The 3 younger kids got taken off for foster care. And Anna and me was left in a house. So that means we was by ourselves. But Anna could function. I remember she'd done some work and I was by myself at 12. So I didn't really go to school. I went into a great secondary school. It's like a Catholic school. It's hard to get into. And but I obviously weren't going to turn up at 12 by myself. And we used to go in to see my mum and I used to be ashamed. It's weird how you feel as a kid. Fucking go away, you know, like, and Anna seemed to be all like, you know, all joyful, and I'm like, fuck off, I'm now ready to kill people. So it felt. And then my mum had the social security book, which she'd get paid by because she's on the benefit. My dad worked and kept on the benefit system. Everything was dishonest. Everything was like not how moral fibre and actions, like as a man or a family, should be to teach kids, you know, to go to work, like, you know, educate, go to school, have some family values, things like that. You know, my mum done her best what she could, but I weren't listening then. You know, I weren't listening. So when he left, I remember my mum, she was amazing. After 9 weeks, she got out of there because my dad left her. She had all that hurt for another woman as well. Jesus, imagine that. She actually went and got the 3 younger kids. It's amazing what she done. So I don't want that negative connotation, like, that, you know, they would take it wrong. What? Because everyone has their own issues. Everyone is always darkness below. There's always issues going on in families. And she, after 9 weeks, now her psychiatrist said she should be in there for a year. The breakdown she had was horrific. And she went and got the kids, the younger friend. I was there, me and Anna, and she brought us all home, which is amazing. But can you see how fragile she is?
Yeah.
I'm like now not anywhere near listening. And I remember he come to the club, my dad, right? And he and my sister and my mate went, Julian, your dad's over there. And I went, fucking Julian, daddy. And Anna went, daddy. I thought, fucking daddy. If I had a gun, I would have shot him at 12. And he was outside with his girl, with his woman. And that was weird because I saw her in the car and a 12-year-old, I think, would act like that, you know, in some way. Like, you should have come over. You should have got us both. Like, he actually said, when I said, fuck off, give me some money. And he gave me a £1 note, back in the day, £1 notes. And give me the money. And he said, what are you doing to me? I think I hurt him. You know, my little sister said to me, don't you remember though, you were really aggressive. And like, it's weird how I forget that. I know the years when I was active and what I was doing and the drugs and what happened, but I don't see myself back then as aggressive. And then when she said that, and then I realised that reaction, it's not about violence, is it? It's just how I'm behaving, what I'm saying to my dad. So I must have hurt him there by saying something like that. But I think it's inappropriate to bring a woman along. That's just my opinion. However, that was the moment then when I needed money. Now, the first thing is this. It's sad because when I look back, I needed a pair of fucking socks, football socks, right, to go to football. So, and I got nicked, my first nicking. So now we're moving into the career, the criminal, the life of madness. I actually took socks, took the sticker off it. My sister was explaining to me, and we saw a program and like joking, and I put the sticker under the thing in the shop, done something else, and as I walked out, he got everything I'd done, is what I'm saying. So it's like a sticker, something else that was on there, and I just done it properly. So I had to get something off. The security go, oh, you know what you're doing, didn't you? But so like, no, I didn't know what I was doing. Then I remember sitting in front of the school, like they were run by priests, and I'm arrested, my first arrest. The underlying feature is, this is sad. This is for football socks to play football. No one was there for that connection to kind of like take me, you know. So that was obviously where I'm completely separate. And this was the time I remember saying, fuck you. I remember it in that school because they was attacking me. They wasn't going, are you all right, son? Back then, obviously, this we're talking 38 years ago. Back then, there was no real help. Obviously, it's only in the 70s and the 80s and when things begun to, like from America, come the Betty Ford Clinic and Alcoholics Anonymous, and there was some help around. But in London, there weren't much. Yeah, there were psychiatrists, but I just got left to run the streets. And from that moment on, that I was just a crazy, little nutcase. So school, no, I didn't go. I remember my mother moved to Crystal Palace, which is not far from Brixton, right? I was out there for 2 years. In that 2 years then, I got arrested for attempted theft from a motor vehicle. So I thought cars. I'd hear people talking about cars. The older lot was talking about cars. But in our group, there was complete maniacs. But there was also a lot of people who was straight goers. And this is the ages from 12 to 18. So out of, say, 15, I remember thinking about it and talking to someone. Out of 15 people, there was 4 or 5 of us that went our way, my way. My mate now who works in Wandsworth Prison, he's a teacher now. He got 2.5 years for burglary at 20. So he was like me. We was the 2 kids. There was a couple others, but mainly me and Simon used to run the streets of Brixton. And at 12, at 13, very young ages, and he done what I done, and then he kind of let it go. He done the 2 years, let it go, and now he's a teacher. I didn't. What was critical was this, is that I'm now thinking I've got to get decent money. So nicking socks ain't going to work for me. The car's not really working for me. What can I do here? So I know it sounds a bit crazy, right? And it's more like a comedy, but me and Simon, he's going to laugh when we hear this because he said someone's going to say this story one day. We got a sawn-off shotgun from some older boy. It wasn't. It was a shotgun, but it was. You could take the 2 pipe, the double barrel. You could take it off the wooden bit of the gun. It wasn't a gun. It looked like it was a replica. And that day we had a Wolseley car, right? We had a Wolseley's an old car, right? A great like a Ferrari you're taking to get away with speed. This car was an old beat down car, and we actually done 2 robberies on that. Attempted robberies, right? We've gone in, and I remember the dog come towards us. This was like, when I think about it, I was like 13, 14. We've gone in with the tall balaclava up. We've got Wolseley round the corner with my mate who's blind, Darren Walker. He passed away 2 years ago, God rest his soul. He was driving. We call him Magoo. He was blind as a bat, and he was our driver. Simon and me goes in there. Let's go. And then a dog, an Alsatian, just come over and just shit myself. We both looked at it and we run out. Got in the car. Come on. He turned left. It was just like a calamity of errors. And then we done another one. It was a confectionery, and then we got something out of that. 90 quid, I think it was. I don't even think that was with Simon, that one. But there was another couple little robberies. I thought, robbery's not looking very good. It's like I'm not, I can't get any guns at that point. I'm 13, Weed started happening. But like the story of when you hear people with drugs, because mine's a story of drugs as well. And they talk about like Tipex thinner. People won't understand that. They're not gonna, some are not. But if you put it on your wrist and I remember having a go, but I didn't like it. I remember people just doing a lot of it. I remember people doing a lot of glue sniffing. I tried glue sniffing once, didn't like it. Tipex didn't like it. Some other nail varnish remover, didn't like it. When the weed come along, we was out at Brixton on the front line, and we used to go down and get £2 draws back then, right, of the yardies down there, and like some of our friends, and it was loads of weed, and it was the good old days of the 70s, the late 70s and early 80s was beginning, but the beginning of craziness was happening for me, right? So we'd smoke, great, that was all right. Then burglaries become more, Simon, me, and I was out of our little group. I would get around because we moved loads of times. My mum, she'd move a lot, and then I ended up doing acid for 3 months, on and off. We done that in a group. We done that. I had a kind of not very healthy experience with it, a dark experience, and and stopped doing that. Well, we all enjoyed it. I remember my mate couldn't his tongue or something. We was all sitting there all tense. You only look back now and you can see what was happening as we're all kids. We're not really telling each other, I feel emotionally really frightened at the moment. We're all sitting there like that and it's puffing wheat and I'm paranoid. And then this geezer Ronnie, Ronnie Moore, another Ronnie, it's all going through my head. He went, I'm gonna follow the tongue. So he went on that one as if the tongue is gonna go down into his. You can imagine. And he went off. He went more. He started making these noises, and we just laugh about those that was there, and we laugh about it to this day. He didn't take another drug after that. Peter Murphy, I remember, he is the same. He had a negative one. I had a negative one, and I didn't really them drugs. It didn't really suit me. I didn't really like it. So, family life is it's back to normal, so to speak. Where we live, looking back, no one really knew because I think we was all in the ghetto, in the cities of London. We was all living probably very poor, but at the time, you're not saying much. I needed the trainers, obviously. I needed to get trained. I needed to get clothes because we're all going out and things like that. And so I became a bit more proficient at burglary. My MO was if anyone come into a house, if they walked in, I'm out. I never, because my MO, I wrote a book and in the beginning I put my previous history because I'm not proud of the burglaries. I'm proud that I didn't fucking hurt people. It's bad enough doing a burglary, but then to go into that area of harming people, I'll put it in there because the book, as you probably know, you're exposing yourself. So I'm saying, here's my previous history, literally my criminal conviction, because I'd get in, I'd set a way to get out, and if, as I say, anyone come in, I'm gone, mate. So and some commercial properties as well, like shops and stuff like that. I used to do, and you know what? I was doing it by myself as well. I didn't need anyone. I didn't need people to go with, to wait about with. That causes conflict as well with money. But I thought no, and I would find myself doing all these burglaries.
How'd you get in and out?
No, often. Sometimes it would be a creep, but most of the time it would be going out on a Friday, Saturday, or say. Afternoons when people are at work. So in London, you got South London, you got wealthy parts just across the river. So you go across the river and it would be basements, it would be side entrances, semi-detached, often the back or basements. Sometimes it would be literally just crashing a window, a square window, putting your coat up against it. Sometimes I'd have like a jemmy on me when it's prepared. Sometimes I'd have a driver. Sometimes we drive out to the country. And that was when it was fluid flowing, money's coming in now. However, I'm only 16 now. Right, so it's only 16. Now when I look at it and think, my age, 16 doing this. Yes, just was in it. So it was almost like I need to connect to something. Some work is not happening. You're all fucking mackerels was my favourite word, to go to work. Just to go to work. Look at them mugs going to work. That was my attitude. And then I get nicked. And as I got nicked, I forgot to tell you, I met my daughter's mother, right? So she passed away now, but we split up years and years ago. But Jacinta, her name. I've got a daughter called Toya who's 31. It's around 31. And that was a young relation. That was the love of my life, if you like. The first one you meet. I had a couple of girls that I liked, but Jacinta was the first at 16 to 22. That was the years when it was all done, daughter, and then finished. Because I couldn't let go of the prison attitude, my behaviour, even though she had some personal issues herself, which I wouldn't divulge here because that's, she's passed away, God rest her soul, and it was addiction that killed her. So pure compassion with that. Poor girl, what she went through. She actually come to look for me 20 years later, come to our house. Can you see that? And I didn't know she was dying. My sister worked in the hospital and knew she had all sorts wrong with her. And I look back and poor girl, she come all that way. Sad, But back then, we were young, we were together, and I got nicked. And what she done, which was sweet, she come to visit me. She bought me a jumper. Such a little thing. I needed a jumper. It was in the cold when you're nicked and arrested and you've been through the river. And there she was, little one. We're both 16. And I get 3 months. No, that was after. Sorry. That was I've got it. I got arrested for violence at 13. Attempted some violence at ABH, and then this was the one. At 16, we're in. This was not good. We're in a pub, our local pub. There's all us lot there, and there was 2 fellas in there and their friend. a lady, and I started it. You know, there's nothing else to say. The fuck are they? So the attitude was, this is my plot, my manor, 16 years of age. Right, they just didn't want to know. They were tall, really tall. Their height got me. And basically, I just steamed into them. I mean, you know, I steamed into them. Then my mates, couple of brothers over there, they come in. But then the second friend went, oh, can you don't? And the girl was crying. And just steamed. This is important because it's not about the violence. This is important, also the story. And then I steamed into the next one and swinging wild. And it wasn't a nice sight. And I'll never forget the kick that my mate Darren done. He kicked him right in the face and it spun him round. And you know, you remember little things when you get a sense of awareness. But back then, it's like poor fuckers. That time, fuck them. How dare they? And then we got arrested. We didn't get arrested straight away. The little brother, like, you know, everyone heard it was me, and then the brother, and the little brother who actually grassed us up. You know, we didn't even snitched is the word for the Americans. Snitch, we call it grass. And because he was so pitiful and such a fucking idiot, like, you know, we didn't bother with him. You know, it was pointless, you know, but like he actually got 15 months as well. So we got arrested. That was when that was when she got me the jumper and stuff. Like, she got me and she visited me in the prisons. Now the first time in Dover prison was, sorry. This is obviously the next step. Trial. It's important to say this bit, the trial, not to the prison. So I've got no tools really to communicate in a court of law, right? I'm 16. Fucking like standing in the dock like that. Like, you know, not trying to be, you know, like calm, fucking sitting there like that. And I hate the judge and the jury, we don't like them. And there's three of us, me and the two brothers. One brother, he had a burglary to go up for and an ABH with me. He gets adjourned, which means he goes to another court, another date, right? He gets 12 months because of that. I get 18 months just for the one ABH. That gives you an idea. I was the main instigator and I went not guilty, right? They don't like that, right? They don't like that. So as a result of getting a not guilty, that's when I get 18 months. So I lie through the court and then this happens, right? Into my first prison experience. Just one point on that, right? Where my job is what I do today is completely the other way, helping people and what I do. I thought, how come the barrister, through that process, through a solicitor to a barrister, could not see that I was a little nutcase? Why did he, when I was guilty of everything, why, and the statements that was all against me, and everyone went, it's him, and I go, not guilty. Why wasn't I guided to a guilty plea? Do you understand? Why? Right, now I do that today, like things like that. I can see that kid is what they've done is not good. But you can see there's a story behind why they went and done that. So who's helping? That's why I had to do what I had to do when it transformed for me. I had to do that. Like, come here, son. Go guilty. You've kicked the granny out of him. You took advantage. Someone who should have said that. Do you see that connection, what I'm saying? Yeah. That's needed. And anyway, so I go into the prison environment. I was really aggressive. I had to be. I just didn't know anything else. I went into Dover, and I'll never forget it, right? As soon as in reception, the prison officer, he spoke, because it was the back end of a YP, which is young, you know, the young offenders. And it had changed from a Borstal, which was a short, sharp shock of like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months. Not good. That it was like army, right? And I just missed it. So the screws, the prisoners, officers, they still had the mentality. So I didn't know this. 16, got into reception. And as soon as he went, you fucking get over there, I just fucking steamed into him. Like, I didn't know what else to do. Like, it wasn't saying that I threw right or left, boom, boom, knocked him Sparko, knocked him, that tall. It was just reaction. You know, it was just reaction. And I got fucking hurt. They then steamed into me, and I'd never show hurt. I'd never show it. I fucking like that Gordon and I spit. You know, that was the story, but it wasn't even me. And I remember going down the block, and I said, you cunts. Sorry to lie, I didn't use that C word for years and years. And so I get a 28-day lay down. So I've hit the prison system. The first time I did do a little remand and I got bail. I remember that was 3 weeks when they first was working out this ABH, you know, the crime itself, and I got bail. My brother-in-law got put up at Xuereb, but this was now prison. This was the first time. So 28 days later, so I come out. Now I'm 17, right? Just turned 16 and a half, 17. It goes up to 21. So that means I'm young in a 21 and under. I'm not 20, 21, one of the chaps, but I thought I was. You know, I had to play that game. And like the reality is, all it would have done is someone just knocked me out. And by the way, 2 months before I got out, I got the best left hook you'll ever imagine of someone. But anyway, so it kind of deflated me a little bit. But like, you know, but I was getting out soon. I explained that. So that experience was nothing but insanity. Bullying was everywhere. What goes on in the prisons? You know what you see today, and you see in terrible things. Spice is hitting the prisons. The youngsters are standing there just to take a punch for one joint of spice. I don't know what that. I've never took it. I've heard about it. I've seen it. And but I was very much not one of them. I was the ones that were not necessarily a bully, but at certain times I knew when to attack and when not to. So I was kind of with the clique, if you like. So if you're from Brixton, you go in with this type of like, where are you from? Brixton. It was like, fucking Brixton. You know, where I'm from is so important. And if you're from outside of Brixton, you're a mug and you're a mackerel. Like, you know, like it's very like there was Bermondsey. Bermondseys in South East London. They're known for the armed robbers and the family tree lineage, and they're happy and proud to say, you know, my dad's a blagger. You know, and I come with that attitude, but I wasn't like them. You know, I did associate around that, you know, but I wasn't like them. So then, basically, she visited me. So now the next, say 18 years up to 35 was the next one. Then was I remember getting out. And this is when in that year I was away. Oh, by the way, when I was away for that year, you got 6 months and you can go for parole. So the parole system there is like, do well, work with us, do your little job. And I was on education. But my mate went home after 3 months and he gave me all the tobacco, all the stuff, which was the Baron. So I wonder why I got a blank on my parole, because I got given the tobacco. And that means now I'm the Baron. I've got the list. This is all kid stuff, by the way, right? It's teenage kids, really, right? In prisons. I got the list. I went up to everybody. I said, I'm all going to do you a favour now. I was sitting there like Cray twins, you know. I'm going to do you all a favour. All your debt is now squashed. I'm the man doing it. And that's what I've done. And them same people got back into debt. You know, vulnerable people look back, but I didn't give a fuck. I wanted my tobacco. And if they didn't have the double bubble by next week, I'd have to go and do that. So did I just say I wasn't a bully? That sounds like a bit of a bully, doesn't it? So, like, but it's a business deal. It's a business arrangement. They give me the I want my stuff back. And I remember, like, a few people that I'd give right-handers to and things like that. And you know, and, like, someone, you know, like, would have said to me, you're going to get a right hook soon, son. Put you down, like, deflate you a little bit, you know? Like, that type of, like, thing would be in my consciousness. It felt like I shouldn't be doing this. But I'm nice to other my friends and we're doing what we're doing and stuff like that. This was the first time heroin hit us, right? Heroin. You know, I didn't know it was heroin because we didn't know it was called heroin, right? All the drugs had been taken. I'm in the prison for a year, remember? I'm doing all the tobacco in, Baron. My mum and dad actually come up to see me, which was a weird thing because they were split up. They come up to see me. And I remember on that visit, it was weird, you know, like they're sitting there. They don't really like each other, but they probably felt terrible. Their son in prison. I don't know how they felt and thought. I don't know. But, like, I know it weren't good because I was sitting there like that. Fuck, they must have left it. Fuck me, what have we brought up here? The other four ain't like this, you know. It's your fucking fault, you know. But I didn't say that. But I very much like changed in attitude even more because now you're around the older boys. Your language is getting more. You listen to someone else. So around the black kids, I'd have a little bit of patois. So I could speak a bit of patois, Jamaican patois. But I was mainly Cockney. You know, mainly, where you from, Chad? It was mainly the Cockney dialect because that's what a lot of it was back then in that prison. And as I say, we grew up naturally with black people. It's just me. I don't even think and look. I don't even want to hear shit about, like, you know, black and white. You know what I'm hearing? And Americans do it a lot. I see it all out there like me. Go away. It's a waste of my energy, man. You know, we're together as one. Even back then. You know, like, I didn't think black because we was both struggling I remember primary school at 6, 7. there was say in a class of 30, there was about 5 black geezers and there's 4 Indians, for instance. I was kind of like confused anyway. Think about it. I'm not like pure white anyway. I don't know what the fuck I am. Like Irish, Maltese, a bit Sicilian, which is a lie. Like my mum's mum is Spanish. What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck I am. And it's true, I didn't know. What's British? What's fucking American? I don't know.
So how did you end up getting checked in the jaw?
Yeah, with 2 months left to go, like, it was evident that like, I was due a clump, really. The older boys would have seen to it, but this nutter maniac, like, who's now in Rampton, he lifed off, very crazy, but terror, fucking real fighting man, like real, like he used to beat everyone up, and I knew it was kind of coming, but China was friendly with him. And then one day, just literally, with a couple months to go, it was literally bumping into each other, just going into the TV room. And he said, watch the door, like that. My ass, I went, oops, right? I had slippers on, I weren't ready. I knew it was coming because you could see it. And he just dropped to right, like as if you're going to throw right. And he's done an uppercut, bang, bang. Took me there, and I kind of didn't fall. I didn't get knocked out, but took it and then just jumped on him, and then not to hit him, I just fell on him. No, but the instinctual reaction was I had to get on him. And then others got in the way of it, and all that. My ego was deflated. My God. 17, and thinking the world's like, but I'm not suicidal. I'm homicidal. I don't think suicide. I don't think self-pity. Something's going to happen, and when I had that element a little bit to me, I was 17, 18, I think I turned 18 in the August, because I was getting out in December. They blanked me for everything, the parole. So now, no one's come up to me, us, and tried to nurture us. There was the same old bollocks that, they're treating us not good. Families are not even involved, with that process of trying to be helpful, and I hated everyone, and, and they got me off the wing, I weren't going anywhere, and then they come to get me off the wing because I was threatening him, and he was saying, when the door opens, son, I'm going to hurt you. I knew to shout a little bit harder, I want to come out, but so they was aware. I knew what I was doing. The prison officers was aware. Now, don't get me wrong, I would have done something. I would have got a stick, I would have done anything, but I knew physically he can do me. You just know, right? And they come and got me away. And then the last 8 weeks was really thawing out. It was like sad. Oh, poor me. And, on the verge of getting out. And then I got out, and my partner, Jacinta, as I said, that was when I went. So I go home, I get home. My dad picks me up for some reason. I remember he's back somewhere. He's popped back in. He dropped me off at Jacinta's. I went to where she was living in Brixton Hill. And she was writing a letter to me, like a sweet little thing when I think of it. And within 2-3 weeks, very early, I'd met a couple people who were speaking about cocaine, crack, because we knew about coke, but I didn't know about crack. Like freebasing. It wasn't that free, it cost a lot of money, but freebasing was the word, the term. They put it in a test tube, I can't a soda, wash it up, and what happened, I'll tell you what, in London, what happened in the 80s, around then, there was the kind of like like the funky hippie type, I don't know, they had some heroin intravenously. We was aware that was about, but then it hit the so-called people who are just all in the area. They was on the edge. They weren't really in the groups in London, and they was just getting their own little thing going, like hippie-tified, and they get their heroin. But all of a sudden, it's like Bobby Kelber got killed. The people that killed him, we knew, he was selling drugs. He was selling drugs when I got out. And me and him were at this age, 4, 5, 6, we used to play with each other. So when I heard he's out and he's selling the gear, the tackle, which was heroin, I just had this. Oh yeah, but in Dover as well, a person brought it in and he gave me a line. I never forget the effects that had on me. It solved the problem. It wasn't the drug, it was the effect of the drug. Heroin give me the ease and comfort that was missing. It's like ready break. They say it's like a ready break. And then, ding, I'm getting some more. All right. And as I say, Bobby had it. I got out now. I took it in the prison. Carlton Cameron. It's funny you remember the name. Carlton Cameron brought it in. We had a bit. I was out in a few weeks. and then Bobby was selling it, and then I give it. So I went to get a £10 bag back then. I bought it back to Jacinta. Now, obviously, that's not a nice thing to do. Heroin. I didn't really connect the dots that it was heroin. You don't back then. You don't. It's on the foil, because we weren't thinking needle. Fuck the needle. It was on the foil. Crack and cocaine now is in rocks, because instead of the freebase, back then we used to get the powder and wash it up. I kind of missed that. The Yardies done us a right favour. They washed it up into rocks back then, right? So next minute, these rocks are everywhere. In shops, we're going into shop, buying it, people in and out, just get a can of Coke. Buying 3 rocks, 4 or 5, in and out. So that was when I kind of come out to the explosion of the heroin and crack experience, which was in the 80s, which I often wonder, like, what happened then? I heard a couple of people in America saying something similar, like, what happened then? We know the Vietnam War, we know what's going on, we know a lot of them was on opium and stuff like that. What happened, or like whatever. I'm not really again a conspiracy theorist or wondering if government fucking done it. I ain't got the time to think, because we know there's a lot of dogs out there. We know there's a lot of people that want us down, but I ain't got the time to think like that. Even back then, I understand people who do, and we need people to help us, and more people who are much more articulate than me, who can get in them and find out what shit's going on. There's a level, isn't there? But I'm not at that level. I'm like this lower working class poverty, trying to make good. I'm in prison. I'm out. I'm now going to get heroin and crack with an abundance.
How did it feel the first time you tried crack?
Crack for me, it wasn't what a lot of people say, because we come into it on the smoking it on the foil. A lot of people go, that's a waste, because people on the pipe love it on the pipe. But I had a stroke off it, so I ended up stopping. I'll tell you that experience. Then I had to stop it. So I would smoke it on the foil, right, the crack, and have the odd pipe. People around me are piping. Everyone now, my social circle is very much thieves, prostitutes, even though I weren't connected much to the working girls. Got my own girl, and then we had a daughter. And even when my daughter was born, like, they all got lag in my family, and I ended up fucking going mad at my mum and stuff, and shouted at them all because they was pissed. I told them not to come to the hospital, like pissed. And her mum was a funny lady and a bit of a drinker. So you can see a bit of a drama. But the crack turned out to be prolific now. I've begun to take it more. So now when I'm thieving, so I've gone straight into burglary, right? With now a real passion. Before it was like to earn money to live. This now, you need, like, let's say minimum 50 quid. Let's be realistic. Let's not talk gangster shit. 50 quid a day is still a lot when you ain't got no money. Minimum. So like, then if you're doing the crack along with the heroin, you're talking, you need quite a lot of money. And I've got 2 of us now. So when I brought it home for the very first time, not knowing what it really is, not even thinking crack's that bad. There was no education. Obviously there wasn't, because when it hit us, it just exploded. Next minute we had a problem in Brixton. They talk about it like 15, 20 years later. Or back in the 80s, I don't think the police even knew. They knew something's happening, but didn't know how bad it was. And as I say, you go from Brixton 2-3 miles to Camberwell, to Elephant, to Aylesbury Estate, all in the hood, if you like. There'd be estates like North Peckham Estate was an estate 3.5 mile radius. You didn't hit the floor if you didn't want to, if the police are after you. You go into the maze. The architect killed herself, by the way, because in the end, you put heroin and crack on that environment. What do you think happened? It fucked us. That's the only word I can describe. And it's the same with the Aylesbury estate. So it just corroded us all in London, and that's obviously speaking, and it's true, it did. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are just doing what they're doing in life. They're going to work, they're doing the best, they're earning money. Some people, properties, and do big load of us though, were really like on this downward spiral of crime and drugs.
So heroin and crack, are you doing them separately, or are you doing them simultaneously?
I do them together. Like I was a smoker.
Up and a down then?
Oh yeah, I'm crazy, aren't I? That's just the way you do it. When you got the money, you do it. You're buying what you're buying. You're not thinking rationally. Or I certainly wasn't anyway. Some people may have been rational, but I wasn't. I was just impulsive, chaotic, and 100 miles an hour. So once I'm on that, There was no stopping me. I've got to get it. That's how it got. Obviously, then what would happen is your family then see it, and then my mother used to hold her bag when I was around. So a light for a tenner. I'd do my mum a favour. I'd say to her, I'd go in her bag. She's got 100 quid. I'd take 20 quid and think I'm doing you a fucking favour. You're lucky I didn't take it all. That was my thinking, because I'm hurt. See, you're growing up and you're hurt. Fuck everybody. Honestly, no. If people deny that and coming from where we're coming from, they miss that, they're gonna be fucked as an adult. You got to admit to yourself, there's an element of me helping others here as I speak. That needs to be explored, because what about the relationships? What about my sisters and brothers? I didn't steal off them. My sister had she was married to someone who had a lot of brothers and that. I knew not to steal off her, but my mum, there was something about my mum that and there's always that mother and son relationship. Well, I love her dearly, we've had a relationship over the years that is pure love, and is often, my mum ain't going to take shit off me. Even sometimes today, she still says her bit back. But the crack and the heroin was then what exploded. As I say, now my partner's on it, which she got the habit with me. I got 3 months in. I got arrested for a burglary. It's my first burglary. So now I'm 19, coming up to 20. Right now I'm still in the juvenile, so 21 and below. The man's prison's coming. Right, so I'm say 20. Then from 18 when I got out, 2.5, 3 years on heroin and crack. Mainly heroin, because the heroin is the one that you function on. You need it because the habit is to the heroin. Crack is psychological. You're just going to go and smoke that shit, right? And there was a lot of, then we go to the airport. There was things, then I'd go with a professional team. Mark Anderson. I went with him a few times, but again, I was mostly by myself, and there was groups of them. So we go to the airport, and that was kind of like a team, and that would be then kind of like better money, because Mark was the one that he was called Golden Bollocks. There's all characters and names of people. And so there would be all of a sudden, you got $4,000, you got $8,000. And that's a lot of money back then. $4,000 like now is like 40, for instance, nowadays. And I would smoke crack till the last penny would go. So that's what I mean. Whether I had a tenner or 20, whether I had $1,000, whether I'd have whatever, it's just going. And then I'm trying to still put it together, because I still thought other people were fucking mugs. Everyone else was the mug still, I still couldn't see me, but really, did I? There was always that voice within. Oh, we've all got it. I don't care, nothing to do with any ideology. It's more how that voice within, and I remember it often. So now, 18 to 20, I've got now a habit, which means I'm addicted to it. Now the withdrawing and the clucking is coming. I don't know what it looks like yet. I've touched on it a couple of times, but I've always had the money to get it. Now I'm arrested. I go into the police station. I'm like an animal. I remember it. It's like, it began to come on me. And I started just fucking playing up mad. And the doctor and I just lunged for some temazepam. I lunged for it. I've actually got them, by the way. I got to just swallow them. And then the doctor pressed the button, and they come in and they beat me up, whatever, and I'm just trying to fight back again. Fuck up. And in the cells, and I'm out of it. In the cells like that. In the morning, they're just, oh, you little rats. And then Brixton prison, this was, and I'll go to court, and I'll get cut it short. I get a result. I go guilty. I get 3 months. I'm 20, right? The next madness is coming, right? It's coming, right? This was when it was just all right. This ain't all right. If this happened to one person, one incident, it would be a really bad thing. I'm fucking having incidents all the time. I am an incident. That's what's just going on. So the judge gives me 3 months, and now the withdrawal's coming, right? Oh God, because the doctor gave me it in Brixton, when I took the pills, and once you're then in the court, and then you're going to Feltham. Now Feltham, we heard about Feltham for the Americans. It's more as if the Americans are over there. Hello, Americans. Right? It's like right. It's like just aware of the Americans. So the first withdrawal's coming, right? And it's horrific. It's like, fuck. Some people really go into themselves. I don't. You can see what I'm like now, and that's straight. Let alone when I was back then. I'm 100 mile an hour now to help people. I think you got to keep that. I think you got to have that passion. I think you got to move into what, that's my personality anyway. So I'll never forget the bit in the YP, the young offenders bit. It was up to 21. I'm withdrawing, but I remember having a nice ski jacket on, nice trainers, jeans. I'm looking at, they're all fucking mugs. Look at them. Some like 18-year-olds, they're 9-year-olds. Yeah, fucking, what are you in for? You know, like, you're a nonce, like crazy attitude we had. Like, fucking nonce, isn't he? He's not a nonce. We're so quick to nonce them off. You know, however, we all know the explosion of that has all been has come out over the last 20, 30 years, hasn't it?
Sure
But it was
was,
all,
yeah.
it was very much hidden a little bit back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, but it was all happening now, and like everyone's fucking at it, aren't they? Celebrities, yeah, everybody seems to be at it. And my mate he said to me, "Well, I love kids like I do. It's like you can't even talk to a fucking kid because of the nonsense, and it's everywhere now, isn't it? You know." And I wouldn't hurt them, but I did in prison. Now I'm grown up. I'm mature now, Shaun. You know, it wouldn't happen now. I'll tell you what happened with a nonce later on as it goes. After I used to beat him up, we used to beat him up in the prison. So anyway, I'm in the YP bit. So I'm going to the prison. I'm going to Feltham. Feltham is not a nice prison, right? They should have closed it down years ago. Honestly, what's going on in there is bad. Because let me separate a little bit for the Americans over there. The Americans, they're very much the screws. The prisons officers, they control them. They're in fucking chains, and we're not. So if you're category A, a high security, you know, like shot someone, killed someone on a security van robbery, armed robber, kidnapping, you could be on the book, which is category A, right? But apart from that, we're really kind of free in the prison system in England, you know, which is handy, isn't it? Poor fuckers going around in chains and walking around like that. Like, we're not quite there yet, and let's keep it that way. Well, I ain't been away for 15 years, so I'm not going back anyway, unless I kill someone. I don't know. That's the only way I could see it happening. If someone fucks with me to the point where I just go, and I've had 15 years, and then finally, you know, something. But no, the conscience is aware. I'm awake now. So, and I remember that in the YP bit there, because I was nearly 21, I felt very much one of the gangsters. Like, you're all mugs. And there was this fella there in the middle. He had a yellow stripe for an escapee, and he was robbing people, right? And it was in a room, crazy, of about 60, 70 kids up to 21. And the prison, because it was like a moving system. So it was like from the courts, the vans, take you all around London to this holding place. Then you get to the holding place, they put you in the rooms, and the men over 21s are over there. I'll never forget, I think I should have been over there. I'm nearly 21. Even saying nearly 21, it shows you the sense of like childish thinking I had. But I thought, I fucking should be with the chaps over there. They put me in here for, with these mugs. So I walk in, bowl into the room, big massive room. But a lot of people, when the door opens, they see it's like 70 people. A lot of black geezers, a few whites, a couple Asians, like people. Like, a lot of black kids were terrified because there was a couple white geezers, a couple black geezers, but the mainly little black firm was robbing a couple people, and I'd go, I'd like to fucking see you do it to me, like, because I was withdrawing and I go the other way. And there's people out there know my story. They was even there with it. You know, I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And in the end, what happened was someone actually come in who I knew, because he was robbing people. And I said, no one's robbing me, or whatever. And then this, who I half knew, he made the mistake. The door got open. He just stands right next to the door, right? That means they all looked at each other and went, because he showed signs of fear. And as they went to him, I just got involved. Bang. No one really threw punches. I just was moving them about like that. And there was one there, Jason from Bermondsey, who was a black geezer, who was London Cockney. He started speaking, you blood clot, like a in Egypt. He wasn't like patois speaking. He was English black kid, and he was my mate, you know. And then I see Jason, and he went, you don't know me. I went, I fucking do know you. What are you speaking like that for? Like, I remember, and then the main robber went, there's only one man in here that I ain't fought yet. And like, still I look back at it, it's all crazy. But no, I just was reactionary. You know, you're withdrawing. You're not good. It's crazy. And then you know, I help him. I go to the prison to Feltham, and that was when then it was the prison officers. Then it was them, because I already had that experience from Dover YP, the young offenders, during my year in there out of the 18 months. I'd done this 3 months, and that 3 months I'd done it's 8 weeks you do. So I got a visit with drugs on it, by the way. So it meant I had heroin in the prison. And I managed to deal with that like habit-wise. So I suffered with withdrawing for the first week or two, and then I started organising things, and I got it in. And then me and Jason, the Bermondsey boy, who didn't know what fucking day it was, gas or electric, he didn't know what it was, nor did I. And we was doing the gear, and then I get out basically, and again now it's into the next level of what I can do for money. What's the next step to do? Maybe I should start selling it. Maybe I should do armed robberies. Maybe, because now, not that you learn when you're in prison. People say you learn. Well, you don't really. It's bullshit. Everyone's talking bullshit. I hope there's people watching this, listening to this, that like it's going to be put off by. You're going to get hurt, mate. If you're not sticking up for yourself, you're going to get hurt. I've seen in prisons. I've been a cleaner in the prison when I've seen them having sex, and it's not having sex. Big old Billy over there is doing her, and it's a boy. It's about two men. I'm just saying that you will have things happen to you if you're listening to this and you're straight and you're a bit influenced by the books. Because I was influenced by the books. We had cratering. I'm not putting anybody down, but that story of the gangster life, it was just all a lie. I remember reading the books and being like interested and a yearning for, something should happen here, and being by these characters. And there's always a glamour around it. It's not real. And the Richardsons and the Cray twins and the Nashes and Freddie Foreman. I love Freddie Foreman. I know Freddie. He's a nice old boy out of the old school. He was the one that would do all the most robberies with. He was always involved with it. That was a story. So if you ever like people like the way they talk about some of the robbers in America, he was someone that.
How did you know Freddie?
Just in our South London. And when there's the jewellery shop in Tulse Hill, where we used to go in Brixton Hill, he used to sit in there with the boys. If you didn't know, you wouldn't have known. But he was sitting there, and he was always a nice man. And he was. They had the certain principles, them lot. They did. Not all of them, but he had something about him. And he brought up his children pretty well and stuff like that. So I'm aware, like every family, there's probably issues there. I've grown up, so to speak, now, and but yeah, he was an influence along with all them boys. So again, why I do what I do today, helping others. That's the role models we need. Someone, not the gangster. We need the normal, sane, realistic, hard work ethic. People are not realising that the same principles, what you spoke about, that you said about, like, the same principles of drug dealing can be turned around. Like, it's like, why go along this fucking journey? Because it's getting worse out there. It's not any better. It's not any better. That's why we got to do what we got to do now. This is what it is. It's about altruism, but it's about the experience. What this story is about, something happened to me, It's not about the gangster life. Of course, the stories are funny. They are, and you look back, but there's always an underlying, sadness involved for everybody. How the community is just fucked. How they leave us, really. If you're in that area, because then you got middle class and upper class, and they suffer too. Because I used to think they're all mugs as well. I did. I used to think, I'll rob them. I'll fucking burgle their house. I'll take their money. Fuck them. Obviously that's not true. I've since them now, and I'm now associated with the wealthy people now, Shaun. I have clients. I've got private jet where I've been in a few times, and my clients. It's true. Well, back then it was a terrible, terrible attitude. So the prison officers become a target for me now. I finish off that 3-month sentence with a habit. I come out. I turn 21. Within 18 months, I'm back in. So I had a reign of just over, let's say, a year and a half where I was out. I was out for a year and a half, right? We had a flat. This is when Jacinta and me, we got a flat down in Brixton, Dorset Road. And this is where my mate, it's funny, it's just coming to me. Things are coming to me. My mate who I was in Dover with, the year that I done my first long 18-month sentence, I saw him out my flat, 21, 22 now. And I see Paul. Right, he'd got out, I'd got out, a year went by, and he was looking for me. He heard I lived on this road. He had a tennis ball of heroin, right? And I was only, now I'm out a little while. Now I'm playing with, like, just, £20 bits, £30 bits. I'm trying to hold it down, but then you don't. Then you go and earn a bit of money, right? So then I'd buy an ounce, things like that, or half ounce. So now I'm trying to manage it, because now you've got to get your thinking straight, and it's not straight, as we know, because you're chasing your tail anyway. But I would do that occasionally. So if I go and get £1,000, I might buy an ounce of brown heroin, use my crack alongside it. I'd buy that. And then as it's going down, sometimes I just think, oh, fuck it. And just go out again to work. My idea of a job in thieving was, let's go to graft, work. We called it work, you know. That is obviously delusion of how we speak, you know, in London. Let's go to work. Yeah, what should we do? You know, let's go for like sales job. Let's go like, you know, work in a bar. I don't give a fuck where you work. Like my work was going to rob. You know what I mean? That's how it was described. And so from that, you know, relatively not a lot of money. What I'm working with. Paul comes along with 12 ounces. That's a jump. That's 12 times more than what I'm working with. So from an ounce, I've got 12. That's a lot. When you're doing it in £10 bags, you've now moved to 30, 40, 50 grand. People like telephone numbers. They say, yeah, I earned that. No, you didn't. You're a liar. You know, only a percentage of people was going out earning hundreds of grands. You know, the faces they call them the faces, you know, the gangsters or whatever word they use, who this was their job, genuinely. We was in this community of drugs and heroin and what happened, even them people in the end who were faces, they started taking the heroin. Do you understand? And they was all undercover with it. So it become, for me, this is going on everywhere. This isn't just in the ghetto. This isn't just over there. This is everywhere that's happening. And I ended up selling, obviously, drugs and then selling that. So now I'd have some more money, right? I would then sit back a little bit. I'd try and relax a little bit, but it didn't last. Didn't last, right? The crack binge that I had, which was the one I got a stroke from, which was when I was 23. So it was on the back end of that money. That money then went, and then I went on a I'll say the story. Little Joey, someone I know, grew up with around Brixton. He come round to see me. I've got £5, right? We kind of would see each other and say, let's do something. So it's straight away to thieve something. He said, what you got? I said, nothing, £5. He said, let's see if we can get a £10 bag off Ronnie, right? And I went, all right then. He said, I'll get it off him, don't worry, I'll owe him a £5, whatever, just to start the days, have a little smoke, take the edge off, so you're not withdrawing to get money. There's nothing behind me. There's no savings account. You know, there's nothing in the bank. There's no bank account, you know. It's just out to do this. So he goes to see Ronnie, and I wonder where he's gone. Where is the little fucker gone? He lives up Streatham Hill. Brixton Hill's just, you know, here. Streatham's like 20 minutes away. I walk up to his house. I'll go around the back. He's not there. He was probably there. But I just, fucking hell. So I just turned and thought, what can I do? Literally across the road, because it was just instantaneous. It was just naturally, I've got to do something. I went to the very first house I remember across the road. I went to the very first, they're detached houses, so you could go down the side. And I looked down like that, and there was like a computer sign, and the man was down there, and I went, oh, sorry, like that. And he just kind of looked at me. I went 2 houses along. As I gone down the side, the door's open. So the door's open. This is fantastic for a burglar. The door's open. And on the table was a satchel. Like that. Right, it's just standing there. And I'm here, whatever. There's a distance. There's 4 or 5 foot. I've gone up to the satchel. Oh, picked it up. As I turn now, I'm facing the street, right? The door's open, as I said. Bang, 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 bang. Stairs. Turn round. It's a 12-year-old. He's Italian. I don't know why. I just went, it's police, son. Like that. And he just looked at me and went, mummy, robber. And I run. I got onto the street, got onto the estate where Ronnie was, where my little mate Joey was going to get, because he sells heroin. I got onto the estate there. But just as I phoned him, and then just as I thought, hold on, let me have a look in it, because in the bag there was £15. So that's why I phoned him for a bag. I've just thought £15. But there was about 30 cards in it. And this person had at least 13, 14 PIN numbers. And it was all in the glasses, you know, so I opened up, it was the last thing as well. So, sweating, clucking, withdrawing. I know I need this next a bit of money. The tenors for £15 will get me out of trouble. But this meant I can't tell you how much I got. I know it was probably around 30 grand. 30 grand in a young person at 22, 23 back then was probably 200 grand now. So 150, something like that back then. And I lost some along the way. I was panicking because each one you get 250 out of. So like I'd have like 3 grand just through them 12, 13. I remember losing one because I'm panicking at Brixton tube station where the cash point is with all this money going up to the cash point, manic. And anyway, so what happened is I phoned Ronnie up. He's got a partner. There's a man called Lee who was there. There's 4 of us. I remember just turning around and saying, "Do you fancy getting a few rocks?" That was it, right? So now I've got this amount of money, you know, looking back, I thought I was in some form of control. You're not realising it's just horrific. We smoked for 8 days, right? I had a stroke, right? And me and Lee had the money. We all fell out. We all fell out of each other as well. Skull gave me a clump. Something happened. All young stuff, you know, I felt guilty. Kid was giving snout. I got all the money. Lee's got the money. It's mad. Lee was saying things, fucking it to him. They're getting paranoid of little bits on the table, you know. And this was the bit when I was going blue. Apparently, my mouth was going blue, and I couldn't breathe down the left hand side. And it's like, oh fucking hell! And I didn't say anything, you know, like, no, look at your face. That's how I'll say, you all right, Shaun? Like 22, 23, I've got my fucking image to fucking uphold. I can't be vulnerable, right? Lunatic. And the girl, it's funny, the woman who's got that soft touch. She went, "Julian, are you all right?" It was almost like I needed that. I went, "No." She said, "Your lips are going blue." Fucking hell, right? I said, "Can I have a rest?" I slept for a day. 1 day, like no lie coming out of my mouth here. 1 day I remember because it was like I was shocked by the day is gone. 8 days of smoking. What the fuck else? Didn't hardly eat. We bought bits and pieces along the way, obviously, because the money was, you'd go to the cash point again 1 minute past 12. Do you understand? You didn't have the whole 30 grand at once. If I weren't using drugs, I would have had 30 grand and spunked 2-3 grand on drugs. And if I wasn't on heroin or crack, then I would have had this money. You were smoking it. You weren't fucking thinking about your next investment. You know, your next investment was who had the better crack. You know, that was it. And I woke up, as I say, and they'd come in with a pipe. And now there was Mark Anson, who said earlier, who's passed away now. He come in with a pipe. He woke me up with it. And when I took it, I knew not to take it, right? He kind of give it to me. And I went, I felt from that moment on, something like a twinge every time I took a pipe, which was, you know, the bottle, what they do, right? 23, never touched it again in that way. I done it on the foil. So I thought the best way for me to do this is on the foil. It's more easier. Those that know means it's longer to smoke. With the crack pipe, 1 lick gone, right? And then next one gone. On this, you can put £20 on. You can have 10, 15, 20 minutes doing it. So I decided to more do it that way because of that experience. I felt it. And then I tried it again. Like I tried, you know, say 6 months later, someone said, "I have a pipe." And then as I went to do it, I remember the same feeling, the sensation. So something reacted in me, which was good, really, because then I didn't touch crack, you know what I mean? I'd smoke. So it done me a favour, but not with my own will. My own will was I want to fucking smoke it. But I just couldn't do it that way no more, you know? And I was watching others around me, like, you know, injecting. People started losing limbs.
What made you not inject?
I did a couple times. I did, but I probably got hepatitis that way. But like, someone done me a few times. Like I remember, I better not mention his name because he's still active. But I had a go, but I was a smoker, so I don't deny that I had a go. It's easy to say no, I didn't inject, but I did, but I didn't know how to do it myself. So it's easier just. If I bump into this fella, or then we'd go out together, he would do it, but then I'd smoke, you know, like I'd have a go kind of thing. And then what you're not realising, what people don't want to talk about, is the spoon that it's in, the cigarette tip, when they suck it from, what's the end of a cigarette? What's it called? Filter. When the filter's in the spoon, it's actually already contaminated. So when you put the needle on it, someone who's got hepatitis, which was fucking everybody, a lot of people had it, you're getting contaminated. Because it's not like HIV where blood, once it hits the air, it dies. hepatitis, it was an outbreak, you know, and people didn't know, and we now know that. So I got hepatitis back then, but I didn't know then. It lays dormant, it's slippery, it's a killer, all the rest of it, you know. Like I got
Is this hepatitis C then?
Hepatitis C. I got left with cirrhosis now. So I've got to be vigilant now. And I'll tell you what happened as we moved into the recovery years. But so really, like there's still a few more, quite a lot of stories, Shaun. I escaped out of the dock and prison and stuff like that. But so that then meant that I had to go thieving. And I remember where I had a fight with another, after I left that situation, right? And I remember like everyone's gone now, like the money's gone. It's like the morning after the night before, like 8-9 days of madness, had the feeling of stroke, the money's gone, right? There was no like giving it to fucking, because I'd split up with Jacinta then. I was 23, 22. I hadn't got into that story of what happened there, but really it's a sad story, and she has family, and but I split up with her because she was on drugs like I was, and she made a couple of mistakes like I did, and that's something I would not want to be saying about her, you know, but God rest her soul, you know, she experienced some shit, and I had to split up with her, and I had to go and get my daughter out of that situation. I had to go into a yardy fucking crack house with some heavy people, yeah? It's not a lie, it's the truth. And I didn't give a fuck because it had to happen because my daughter was in there. She's 18 months old. And people saying, when he gets out, meaning me, he's going to do something because this little firm, there was 3 brothers and then there's others around it, and there was door with gates on it. So I am fucking coming out, and I don't care. They might be able to do me something. I'm not pretending. I've never pretended that I'm anything. Right, I'm just by myself. I've always been that way, right? And some of the other stories, the violence in the prisons happened after, you know, because I'm only 22, 23 here. That was just the beginning. There's some more to come. I ain't even started, you know, really, the truth be known. It's all coming to me, you know. But like, I went into that and that situation, and there was only one brother there, and some other, and they went, all right. I could see they was a bit shook. Done me a favour, give me a bit of confidence. If there would have been quite a few in there, I might have gone into that situation, but I got out, and I remember going up to her, the house, and so I knew them, do you know what I mean? It weren't like I didn't know them, but what I'm saying is Jacinta was attached to that group, so it wasn't very healthy, and me and certain person had to be careful, because he's kind of like feeding her drugs now. So do you understand? He manipulated her, very beautiful young girl, but my fucking daughter's there, and Jacinta is there, but I'm a bit uncomfortable with the situation, but I've got to get her out. And got her out, I fucking did, right? It took a day, you know what I mean? Like, and I remember the main one comes in, all this drama, like heavy dude. These dudes were killers, you know? These dudes were like they were murderers. That's it, you know, like, but there was always an element of before the gun is the principle, whatever it is. So like, it's like he knew that I was there and I was right for what I was experiencing. He was feeding her drugs. He's bringing it, you know, that's not your fucking job. You know what I mean? So I had to face it, and I got her out of there. I then got basically into a rehab, and I didn't know. You know, you look back and I was 23 and I got into a fucking rehab, and like, I was just active still. And I was saying to her, no, me and you split up. We have to, you know, where we're both at. I was talking like that. My daughter, you know, and I got into a rehab. Well, as mad as a March hare, I remember. Like I sometimes all of a sudden have beautiful clothes. Like I'd nick someone's fucking whole wardrobe up in Kensington, like their suits. You know what I mean? Like, and it's Armani, by the way, the Americans, the Yanks, right? Like, you know, that's what we do now. It's tailor made. No, back so I would nick their suit. Next minute I'm in a suit, and people were like, so I'd always spun people's heads a little bit because I wasn't down. I'd have to come back again. And when you get nicked and you're in and out of prisons, you got a chance again. You got to coming out again. I'm not just scared. Oh, I don't want no money. I don't want to really feel it. I fucking had to feel it. You do the crime, you do the time. The old saying, you got to do it. You don't want to do it, but you do it. And you know, and I took her to the rehab. I remember in a suit. My hair was just all over the gaff, and I put her in there. So now. That was the last bit, wasn't it? If you think about the emotional attachment, which I didn't have any understanding to speak of, an emotional awareness side of it, Shaun. I was helping her. Didn't have a fucking clue. It was all about me, but I tried my best to help her. And then now, when that link severed, 16 to 22, I'm 23 now, I haven't got that responsibility. I went fucking even more crazy, which I didn't really understand it. I was totally free with all the underlying feelings of the past from parents, from they split up, for the first love of my life, to the next experience, which is I'm on fucking heavy hitting drugs here. I'm now done possibly 2.5 years in prison for coming on to 3. I remember doing another 18 months for burglary. Do you know, I done it. It's all in my previous history in the book I've got. It's not published yet. It's just finished. It's ready to go, but it's all there. So it shows the in and out. It shows the jumping around, in and out of prison. And you know, and off I really went into the system even more now, right? There was a really crazy, because that was a heavy situation going in to get her, by the way, right? That was really heavy. There's some bits I couldn't really say there, like which was a bit of violence, which went a bit over the top, you know, which caused consequences, which caused us all to like disperse, stuff like that. And so all just madness stuff. But I'm now just carrying on burgling, getting some more money, and I'll go home to my mum now. So I'd go to mum, she'd look at me like in amazement. I remember I'd be like, on the floor in the front room, out of my nut of heroin, like fucking crack, the foil, everything around me in the front room. I've got everyone else who's younger. I'm the oldest brother. Anna's married, you know. 3 are at home. And I'm like that. And she'd come in and she'd go, be Jesus. She's Irish. She'd go, be Jesus. What have I done here? Like, I'll go, what's the matter? What's the matter with you? Kind of thing. And she's going, like, you know, poor mum, you can imagine what she's thinking. Like, you know, what's happened to him? I'm fucking all right, it's you. It's your fault. And you know, and she'd always get me something to eat. She'd slow me down a little bit, but then in the morning, up I get. Off I go, right? And I'll go into the area. So, like, as I say, the drug dealers, I'd rob them. I got known for doing that. Not like every single one. I'll rob them, you know. Like if I'm going to score and there's a few of them there, and he's left us waiting for a little while, I'd fucking rob him. You know, that was because he left us waiting. People would be shocked when it would happen. But it's not like a professional robbery. It's not been set up. He's just got some bags on him in about £10 bags, and I was like, give me that, you know. And then someone else might be there who's game, you know, and me and him. So let's rob him when he goes. So it's very mad, because then these people, I've got friends that the dealers come back and kill them. Like, you know, so I look back and someone was looking after me, you know, because I kind of went through it. I got away. I'm here. Look, I'm alive. I'm here. And then arrested again, burglary, right? So the judge from the past was like, and Julian comes from a result of a broken marriage in the probation, right? You know, at 12 years of age, you know, his mother went to the hospital, his dad was a womanizer. No. But you're fucking saying it in your 20s now, it's carrying on. But finally the judge recognised, because my own family could see I got dealt with harshly. Because I wasn't an informer. People say you're on the drugs, you're an informer, you're this, you got a bad name. Personally, I wasn't. You know, my history's in the history, and then the judge could recognise that I hadn't been given a break. So from the 12 years of age, when I got like attempted ABH, and then the attempted theft of a motor vehicle, you're not going to prison for that. The very next one, ABH, 15, I got remanded into custody. Got bail, and then got the 18 months where I told you that. I was at 17, right? So that meant I didn't get probation. I got straight to prison. Normally, you don't go straight to prison, you know, unless you've done a serious crime, you go in prison. But the little things that's leading up to your career, you know, you get a chance. So the judge gave me my first chance at 26, right? Go to rehab. So I'm in the prison. You do all what you've got to say. You go and see the drug people in there, you write down, right, you want to go to, yes. And instead of prison, they say, right, well, you're going to go to a drug rehab. I went to this drug rehab. It's pointless talking about the rehab, right? I'm going to tell you what happened. This is so crazy, right? I go to the rehab. I eventually, after 6 or 7 weeks, I hook up with a girl, as you do, right? And we use... From the first person, a Scouser, a Liverpudlian, comes in. He said, do you want a bit of gear? I said, yes. He gives me the gear. So much for the step one stuff. We admitted to ourselves we were a power. So much for that. I wasn't ready. There was no God consciousness, which means true self. That's what it means. Like that, I weren't ready. A decision hasn't been made yet. Fuck the decision. Yeah, come on, bring it on. And we go and smoke it. Downstairs like that. You had a bit of gear, June? No. Right? It's back, scratching, you know, it's on me. And me and her, we're in love now. You know, two maniacs in an outpatient facility. You know, we fall in love. You know, we're going to do this, going to do that, right? Her boyfriend, who was married, by the way, he comes in to see her. He sees me. He's in his 30s. He's jealous of me. I look at him and say, "You fucking mad. I'm a fucking lunatic." He was a multi-millionaire. She was getting money off him for nothing, like just to ram him or whatever she was doing. And me and her, she's posh. She's lovely. She's lovely. Jenny. I hope Jenny watches this. I ain't seen her for 20 years, mate. And she was lovely. She visited me in prison, and everything was great for a while. She got nicked, bringing drugs into the prison. We ain't started yet. Straight, all's true. God is my judge. So I leave with Jenny. He's heartbroken. I say, "How the fuck you're married with kids?" You know, Jenny was really sexy. You know, she's 25, he's 45, I'm 24, 25, 26. Well, around that age, right? We're in rehab. And I leave first. We meet in London. I tell her to meet in London. Right, I get a hostel. I have to do something. I would have gone straight normally to my mother's. But this time, because I know she's coming out, I go to a hostel. So I go to the process of saying, "You're home, just got out of prison." I get a hostel. I pick the love of my life up, Jenny's. We're going to go into the sunset. We're going to get married probably soon. You know, have children. She comes out, lovely. I haven't got a pot to piss in. She's got 600 quid. I'll never forget it. £600, I thought, result. I'm going to use her money, right? She could, but I didn't really just take it off her. She was buying bits and pieces. And then this is what happened. One day, it was about 10 days have gone by, right? Normally I get my own money. Normally I haven't got, you know, I don't need anyone. Normally, and I got up one morning a bit earlier, like, and she's in bed fast asleep. And I say, "Jenny, come on, like, get up, get some gears." She went, "When I'm ready." What? Did you see the moment in my eye? I went back there. I went, "We'll fucking see about that." And I went out, right? And I never see the mad thing, straight across the road to the houses that are in Kings Avenue, Brixton Hill at the back, which is nice area. Some parts of Brixton are all right, especially now, all these years later. It's now really nice in Brixton. I go straight down the side. I don't even really see who's to my right in the next garden, right? As I go in, I'll make a bit of noise at the window because I went into their garden bit to get a shovel or something. I can't remember if it was a shovel. Whatever I got, I'm doing the window and it went pop. And as it went pop, a man next door went, "Excuse me." I went, "Yes." Like that. And he kind of, like he reacted to me saying, "Yes, what you," like as if, and he went, "Oh." He must have, obviously, I got down, I run, right? He phoned the police. As soon as I was down, CID, burglary squad, this type of people, as soon as I'm about 200 yards, I see them all pull up to go into the house. So that's how quick, obviously, it was, right? But luckily, obviously, I left, right? I go straight into an estate in Brixton, Blenheim Gardens, and I walked past a lady with her staff. I saw her. I didn't think much. I go and do her right, and I never forget my mate lives there, Shane. I ain't seen him for years and years. Opposite is a staff with the window open, right? That house is the gangster of the estate. That's his house. Shane told me, right? He told me when I was in prison, right? This is later on. So cut it short. I get into that window, I flop in, and I just drop down, right? I can't get out of the kitchen. There's a 17 grand ring in a box in the food cupboard. And there's 4 £20 notes. For me, that's a right result. I got a 17 grand ring, which I got 3 grand for. Should have got like 10 for it. But, 3 grand's all right. Right? I got the 4 £20 notes, which was under a pot. So I go back to Jenny. So I cash it in. Not the ring. I got the 200 quid. I got the ring on me. I didn't know it was that. It's a solitaire. It's about 3 carats. So, it probably was worth more. But like the wording was, Julian's got like a 17 grand ring. Like, because I went up to one of the chaps on the estate, and they looked at it and he said, "No, I'll give you £1 for it." I said, "I know it's worth more than a fucking grand, because the size of the solitaire, I knew I better get it looked at." So I bought the heroin and the crack with the 200 and went back to Jenny. It's a story with this, yeah? There's a beginning, middle, and an end. Back to prison, right? So we smoked again. I say, "Look at this ring." And I said, "You think I'm a fucking mug, do you? You tell me wait for you." I fucking got it now. I didn't say it like that, I'm exaggerating. But, I had the money now. I got the ring. She said, "Oh, look, Right, so we finish it and we go to Hatton Garden. I cash it in anyway. I think it was 2,800, whatever. 2,800 again, 25 years ago. It's a nice chunk. It's about 15 grand, 20 grand now. And we do that, right? Right. The time frame here from me and Jenny leaving the rehab. Remember how I get in there through the court, right? Court, right? Court says you go to rehab. So I've got this following me now, haven't I? Because I've left the rehab. So what about the probation? It's all accountability, isn't it? Well, where is he? Well, I'm not going to turn up to you. I'm going to probably get nicked. That's how I'll then get caught, right? And this is what happened, Shaun, right? So rehab, I leave with Jenny. She meets me. I get this money. I smoke it, right? We're smoking it. And then I get arrested for this experience. I'm near the hostel. I go up to in the area. I go up. I see a window open. I get in. There's someone in the bedroom. I quickly take the video back then. Videos. And we're going back some now, aren't we? Videos, right? And there's a little bits and pieces, little scrap bits of gold. Not much, just a little bit. Some mostly shit. I just took it because there was someone in. Well, the video's going to get me my money, right? Because I've got none, right? So it's going to get me something. Well, what happened when I went into the shop just at the top of the road, right? He'd already seen me, this dude in the shop before. He knew that I owed someone some money. This man in the shop. So he see me on the street, but then he couldn't believe it when I come in his shop then. So he's already told someone, right, who's a grass, basically. Phone the police. I've gone in with the video. Basically, I get away because he says I don't want it. So I leave. Next minute, right, all the police have come down where I was, right, and arrested me on the street. Right. So I'm arrested. This is the time of taking into consideration TICs, the police. You're either I don't get bail. So you're going to either be an informer, a grass, a snitch, or you're going to do a deal for TICs taken into consideration, which I'd never done. This means that you go in for handling, because the charge I would have been arrested for was handling, because I would never admit to the burglary, because I'd done a burglary. I got the stuff from a burglary. Handling. Bearing in mind, this is what I went in for, right? Right. So, police knew, you know what I mean? Come on, son, they went, why don't you just give us some TICs? We'll give you some bail. We'll give you time to sort her out. They're talking all their words, right? I'm in the hostel with her, you know, like, come on, she's waiting for you. And I end up walking out of the police station, not one handling, 2 burglaries and 44 TICs. That means 46 burglaries I didn't do. Hear why? The police didn't look back further enough. Yes, there could have been a 3-month period where I could have done them, but the 3 months I could prove I was in prison. They didn't look back enough. So I thought, result, I'm going to take this deal. But that's insane still. I'm still fighting for another day. That's all I'm doing. I'm fighting for another day. I could have just, you know, like as a normal, but I wasn't normal. I just wanted to get out, right? So I knew I was fighting for another day, right? So I was bailed for 9 weeks, right? I go back to Jenny. Oh, like great, I'm out. Like lovely. Turn up in court 9 weeks later, right? I've got heroin, crack on me. I've had a good whatever. I'm ready to go, right? Prison, right? I'm ready to go, whatever. It's called a lay bench in London, right? They got a lay bench of 3 magistrates. The 3 magistrates was listening to the prosecutor, like 44 burglaries, 2 burglaries, 44, and he's on unconditional bail, right? I'm in the dock. To my right is the door. There's people have heard what's happened. So like Jenny and a couple of others was in the dock, behind me in the dock, in the public gallery. The door is there to leave. 10 yards away from me, so I'm in the dock. The magistrates, is there any Mr. Xuereb, I'm sorry, but, unconditional bail. I'm going to remand you in, they didn't get custody out. This was I just skipped the dock, out the door. As I turned to go out the door, I faced the prison officer that's on the desk, so he's over there. I've got to go out the door, down the stairs to my left. It's only round the corner from me, 10 yards. He seen me shit himself. I'll tell you why. Because as he's come running to me, you know, I just went like that. I kind of even missed him. I kind of went like that, and he just dived on the floor. I heard he was off. We didn't see him again. I think he got sick pay and all that. I went out the door, down the bottom of the stairs. The spinning doors like that. Everyone ran after me. Right, I'm out the door. I'm gone. Fucking, we live Campbell Magistrates Court, Campbell Green. Like, we lived there. I just shot round the corner. Fucking helicopter. But by the time an helicopter, I'm already, they don't know, they haven't got my heat. There's everybody. Do you understand? I haven't been, they just got it swinging about. I just stay in the block. As I remember turning the corner, 2 prisoners was trying their half best, but they weren't going to come. They're in the area now where we are, the ghetto, but yeah, they're in the area. I kind of went like that and then turned the corner, like give them a little wave. And then I just waited in the block, right? That then was, I'm now away, I'm free. I waited for a little while, then slipped up to my mum and told my mum, right, it's on the news, right? Dangerous fucking, like, I didn't see myself as dangerous, right? Probably something to do with my behaviour with the authorities, not like just the crime, you know. There was no like dodgy thing with me. There was just crimes in the community for money. There wasn't no disgusting crimes, you know. Like, I'm not saying burglary and theft and stuff like that is good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but like, why did they say that? But like, it was to do with being unpredictable. They had me down 1 minute being really rational, can express myself. And I get clean in the prison and I might get a little education job. All of a sudden, I just fucking turn on someone because they've said something that I've perceived. I was a bit of a deep thinker. Sitting in your fucking cell, you got all the time to want to think. What did that fucking bastard say again? So you're just thinking a lot, aren't you? And so I obviously I go. So hold on. Yeah. So what happens? 2 days later. Remember now, I'm at my mum's. I've escaped. I've gone up to my mum's. 2 days later, I end up Jenny. I meet her. Right, she said, "Fucking hell," you know, from the jump in the dock and all that. I felt like a fucking face. Now jump in the dock. Yeah, I've escaped now. Right, yeah. And I got grassed up a crack house. So where am I going? Look, crack house. I'm not going. I should have stayed at mum's, just kept it down. But I had to meet her. I didn't know where she was. No mobile phones then. This is going back some 25 years. Yeah, 25 years. Yeah. So meet her in Brixton, go up to this crack house. I got a little something on me, and then not much, like 30, 40 quid to buy something. Smoking, this person grasped me up and the police come in, right? And not only that, right? No, I had the drugs, didn't I? That's it. I had the drugs. What I went to the court with, I had the drug, that's right. And why I say it, because I remember I had 5 little wraps in a shirt pocket. The police got the 44 wraps. I got arrested at the crack house. So I hit the prison, right? It's confusing. 44 burglaries with 2 that they're going to charge, that I'll get charged with 44 taken into consideration, right? I jumped the dock. They caught me up the crack house with 46, 48 bags of heroin, and I've got 5 that they missed, right? I'm withdrawing. So they've got this, and that means I'm charged now with the burglaries, possession intent to supply heroin. Back then, you was getting like 8 years for just supplying, right? So I'm now with the burglaries. I haven't even really done anything. I thought, what have I done? You know, I haven't done fuck all. What have I done here? Like, I didn't really do anything because I admitted to the burglaries that I didn't do. I got nicked for 1, which would have been a handling. I would have gone guilty and just got nicked for handling. Because of my insanity, all them burglaries I've got to go up for, now the possession to supply heroin, that's a big charge back then. Now on its own, it's a big charge. And then I go back to the prison, right? And people looked at me like, what the fuck, man? Like, what happened? I don't know, right? Let's go straight to the point. Within a month, Jenny gets nicked for bringing in heroin, you know. And I end up having 2 trials. It was, you know, when how can I explain? You're now clean. I'm trying to get gear in there, but it's not like the street. You're more or less clean. You get the odd bit in there. But as the depositions, which means the paperwork starts coming through, well, told my solicitor, well, look, check with the prison and Barleywood Rehab, because I was in there when they said I'd done some burglaries. Even if it would have been 1 burglary that I was in prison, that 1 burglary would have shattered the whole 44 burglaries, because that's a lie. The police are lying, right? They was just greedy, you know. They didn't even look. So I was in prison, do you understand? And the rehab when I'd done some of them burglaries. So that would have been pushed to the side. So what am I looking at now? 2 burglaries? I was saying no. I didn't do 2 burglars. I've done 1, right? I've done 1. Finally, I admitted to 1. But now I've got the trial. I've got the trial for the one trial. Sorry, we organised on the burglaries. The second trial was the possession intent to supply heroin. And what I showed the court is very skillful, really. My mum was there, bless her heart. The police turned up as well. A whole fucking crew of them turned up. They fucking hated me, they did. Right, they turned up. Now, I was saying this. Let's say a 6-month period. Let's say I can show you I was in prison. 44 burglaries, 2 burglaries that I'm charged with. Possession to supply 44 bags of heroin. What the fuck am I? Am I a burglar or am I a drug dealer? I could show you I was only out for 3 weeks. The jury obviously see the truth. Why did you have the raps? I was selling it, of course I was. But legally, my legal faults was, the way we think is I wasn't selling it. I was just knowingly concerned, which is what it come down to. So I did get off it concerning the possession intent to supply. I showed the jury the steps that I took, that I admitted to these burglaries. What you're not supposed to. You're supposed to go into a court and don't admit to nothing. But I thought I might as well show the court the truth. I'm a drug addict. This was when it was getting something was happening in me. This is bollocks, my life. This ain't good. But I've still got no power to do anything about it. I've got to fight these court cases. And what? And then when you're sober and you're looking at what you've just done, jumping docks, they didn't proceed with jumping the dock because I had so many charges to go. They thought he's going to get a fucking 10 anyway. A 10 years for nothing, So the burglars got sent to 1. The jury could see that I said she injected and I smoked. That's why I was in wraps. It made sense because I'm a burglar, I said, not a supplier. It made sense, The fucking police looked at me like, bastard. And I got 18 months. So it was a result. Because when I went back, someone got 4 years. He weren't expecting that. He was expecting an 8. He got a 10. He got life. I come back for 18 months. It's nothing to me. It's like nothing. But it was beginning to hurt. It was beginning to hurt now. What I'm doing, I remember the vision of your mother. You got your mother looking at you in the dock. You're in the dock and you're looking at your mum. Her face, her eyes, just like bloodshot through pain. You know what I mean? I'm still fucking... But it's slowly getting deflated now. It's slowly getting deflated. And I kind of feel I should wind down a little bit, yeah? You don't need a long one, but the last crazy before what happened to me, there was more. I escaped another time from the police station. That was because it was like...
We got plenty of time.
Yeah. I'll just how I'm thinking. I went to a hospital in the prison, right? I made up about a back, and then I smashed my head in the cell, trying to go for a hospital, an ambulance to take me out. Because I want to get out. You
smash your head intentionally.
Yeah, intentionally.
To get out of the cell.
Yeah, intentionally. Yeah, right, intentionally.
And
I made a fit in the door, but they didn't know that, did they? I'm in the cell, so I just smashed it. I didn't really smash it, but I've done whatever I'd done. Whether I kicked it, whether I banged it. I can't remember, but what I'd done was a moody, fit, banged my head, and I was going like that, and then I was waiting for the moment, the police, and as they come to look in, and I'm going like that, so I'm waiting. It's just a fanny, a lie. He saw it, and then they come, and they didn't know what to do, panicked, so they got no choice but to phone the ambulance, it's just what they got to do, and again, and I escaped out of a hospital. So
escaped out of the hospital
as well. Yeah. Twice. That happened twice.
So how did you get recaptured, and how did you escape?
I get. Well. See, what happened when you go through in King's College? It was King's College. I know King's College well, so all it was about a matter of going to the toilet. It's as simple as that. So they know at that point of time, right? Like they don't really want to. They have to uncuff you. They had to uncuff me to go to the toilet. That was it, I knew where I was in King's. The 2 that I was with, I knew I could go. Sometimes they might bring more. They had 2. I was up for a theft at the time. Wasn't very, I'm only doing 6 months. So you think I'd wait? Given a fucking opportunity, gone. 6 months. Sad as it's getting deep. 6 months. I only had 2 months left to go. I remember scrambling down King's College, fucking... twice that happened. one of the times, just fly forward, because most of the behaviour pattern was like that, right? Nothing was getting better. Some of the times I'd earn money, it was killing me more. So like, I remember getting together with a group of us, like 4 of us. Then we was getting more into some nasty bits of like tie-ups that happened 3 times. I just stepped back from it. But
What do you mean by tie-ups?
One was attempted. Well, like on a tie-up, which is when you tie family or people up. 2 was attempted.
That's in the process of a robbery.
Yeah. So like, I didn't really connect that, but I had that experience. I remember one person I didn't really trust. You know what I mean? I didn't trust him. I heard some things about him. I think he's a bit of a like with women. You know, I weren't too sure. I remember I didn't like him. You know, and like the other two, it was all right because we were selling drugs together. So things like that I like not really speaking about when I had quite a lot of money. You know, like when we were playing with like, you know, a few kilos, there was a handful of us doing it. Again, it would go down. There'd be arguing amongst us. Someone would nick a couple ounces, someone would nick a bit of money. Then it would be all on us, you know, things like that.
That's kilos of what drug at this point?
Heroin, crack. Well, cocaine.
Coke.
Not kilos like 10s and 20s. We was always playing around in between 1 and 4. Sometimes there's always be around that because we're trying, the 4 of us are trying, there's a driver as well. And it's just 5, 6 people. We're playing around that. Now, I started it, but I noticed they were ponces as well. Not letting me, but, you know, I was the one, the go-getter. So I just noticed they weren't really pulling their weight.
And where are you sourcing the kilos from?
It's easy. You know, it was back, you know, we was in an area where there's areas where people, families, you know, and you know, not only was it Turks, there was other families as well as doing it. So I would go to someone who's connected to my family, and then I'd be the one that could get it. So when I'm with these lot, they had things like the cars. Do you understand? They was acting like they were shotters. You know, I weren't no shotter. I'd get it, I'd sell it, but I wasn't thinking not the way they was thinking. You know, these dudes were selling it on the streets at £10 balls. So I thought I'd bring them in, but I shouldn't have brought them in. But you do. Things happen. And then we start smoking crack. So this one that didn't really smoke crack before, he's now smoking crack because now we're smoking it. And now the money is like he can see. Like, you know, we're smoking it on crack. So he might as well smoke it on crack because he's not going to get his cut of the money because we're more smoking it on crack. And then he would start on it. Like, and then bearing in mind, and what happened with them, these were black dudes, and then I remember a couple of them got on a needle as well. So like they started off with me, like, so I'd smoke. They'd have a smoke, but you know what I mean, they'd smoke a lot. But then because they might go around the area, they're serving up people, some white geezers, it might be some black geezers as well. A lot of people was injecting, but Michael, his name, he's all right. He's now clean, doing good. Thank God for that. But one of them's doing life. Bert's doing life. He already done a 12. Then, you know, in England, you've got like a similar 3 strike rule, what the Americans got. Bert got a 12. And when he met hanging around with me, then he was earning some good money. But that's when he started smoking a bit too much more. That's the man that I said that smoked a bit too much more. Then when we all partied, he went on and got life for a robbery that I don't know the story behind. Michael ended up getting a 9 for something to do up Soho, some fucking mad turn up with women, you know what I mean? And he got 9 years, and then he got out, and he's all right now. I found out he was all right. I seen him about 2 years ago and recently, and he's still sticking to what he's doing, you know? He said to me, I bumped into him, he went, oh, like, you know, because there's Bert, you know about Bert? And he told me, he said, oh, Bert's got life. And he went, I don't really want to know. Right, now I'm clean, years clean. I said to him, well, you judging him? He didn't expect, the last thing he expected out of my mouth, I ain't seen him for years. I said, you was in Brixton with me doing a 9 for fucking doing something to a woman up some flat. You know, judging him, you know what I mean? I said, fucking Bert's suffering in prison, man. Fucking let's sort him out. Let's go and find out where he is. But I reacted a bit aggressive, you know. I said, no, I ain't in that no more, Michael. I said, but don't turn your back on him. You fucking used to bang up. It's just funny how people just can't help but, you know, because I learned about the gossip, because I was terrible. I talk to you, then next person I see is a fucking mug, Shaun. You know, like, it's always, I was uncomfortable with myself. Like, being around, I couldn't have a healthy communication with people. It felt like I had to act really hard. I'll mug you off, you know. Shaun's a fucking idiot. He's a mackerel, you know. And like, obviously, at some point, someone's going to say, "You fucking someone's going to point a finger at me," which happened in prison, you know. Like later on, you know, like I'd have to have a row over me saying something about you, and then he says to me, "Well, you said that about Shaun." I said, "No, I didn't." And I go, "Oh yeah, I did. But what I done, I said it this way, try and justify it all, you know." And I remember that. So now, where I'm 15 years down in the game, my life's transformation, like I don't do that no more. Like I'm not gonna do that. That's a nasty way to talk. Your mouth's getting into trouble. You can't even see it. You're already fucked with your actions. And then my mouth, that's where it all starts, isn't it? What happens in there comes out there. So I had to learn to curb that. So when Michael said that about Bert, I obviously felt sorry for Bert, but I didn't get his details. But yeah, so that was that was around all that time when jumping out of the dock, jumping Campbell Green. What would be happening in Brixton now? So I'm about 28, 29. By the way, I've had another daughter, Alice. She's, thank God, doing well. She hasn't really experienced. She experienced the first 6 years I was there, but then when I went away for the time when I got clean, sort myself out, that was a 3-year period. I got nicked for a robbery, attempted robbery. I actually stopped the robbery, but I got 3 years. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Someone went to do a robbery, and I was going to go with him, but I didn't. It was a 19-year-old girl. I'll explain that story because it's all part of the end. Not the end, because the beginning then happens. It's not the end of what we're doing. It's Alice said how she missed, how I missed them 3 years. She was about 6 to 9 when I was there. I was selling drugs. She was born. Everything's fine. Like this was 26, 27. So moving into like the first, I'll just tell you a story here. Moving into the areas when I got, just before I got clean, was I get out of prison. Getting out of prison. One day I was out, Shaun. One day, not even 24 hours, right? Not even 24 hours. And I got money. I had some money. Not much, 500 quid, something like that. But I've come out to something. Like someone sent me money in as well. But I got something when I got out. Normally, they give you money on your discharge grant, but I had an extra bit. So I didn't hit family. My mind, getting out of Brixton prison, said, what you do, you get out of Brixton, you go to right, go to the end of the road, all family, because I've got family, remember all this. I haven't touched on them relationship. I'm just missing all them years. In and out, I phone mum, I'm in prison, phone my sister, there was no depth there. It was just, I was gone. That's it. I get out and I should do a right. And in the last, period of time I was in prison that time, whether that was 8 months, 10 months, a year, whatever it was, because in the end you lose. I'd have to go to my previous history to so many, 60, 70 previous convictions, something like that. A lot. I can't count. So as I get to the right, there's a phone box. The beast is going, come on, just come, one more rock, one more little bootlace chase, they used to call it. Got to use the phone. I find myself going left. For that year, obviously, now I'm like, I'm 30, whatever now. I'm growing up a bit now. I'm going to sort myself out. No, don't make the phone call. I go on to Brixton, left for Brixton Frontline. I go down there, I'm smoking. This time I had a pipe. First one, felt the same shit. Put it on the foil, put the heroin with it in the bin chute. Bumped into someone I know, like that. And then he comes over, we're smoking in a bin chute, So I've got this money. So I don't phone. Then I go into Campbell Green, not far from Brixton, and cut it short. I bump into an old friend of mine, Charlie, and I don't know that he's ingested 70 Valium. Now, if anyone knows Valium, you can't give me 3, 4 or 5 even. I'd wake up with stockings and suspenders on, arrested. I don't know what's going on. By the way, I'm straight heterosexual. I'm a straight guy. I don't care how you take it. I'm just a heterosexual. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is you forget. When you take Valium and you have a bit of heroin, the reaction, the effect is like very much like that. So he is one of them people that takes pills. I didn't really take pills, so their habit, they can handle it. I can't handle pills, right? So the 3-4 that he give me, you know, time went by. Next minute, it was in patches. I got a scarf, I got a dart, we're cutting it, I put it round me, he's put it at him, we're going to do a robbery at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the morning. The thing is this, I've got money on me. I'm up at crack house, I don't want to get the money out in front of them. That's what it is, right? Because I want to go home soon, you know. I should have given Charlie a tenner to get rid of him, but the pills have took effect. I'm not thinking very well, and I just think, let's do a robbery, right? As God is my judge, every word's true. We come out of Campbell, 10 minutes to walk onto Brixton Campbell Road. As we come out onto that road, it's 4:20 in the morning. A girl faces us, right? She comes out from a corner, she faces us. Charlie sees her and goes straight across the road. As I saw him cross, I kind of saw her just go like that, terrified. His name's Charlie. This is what they said in the jury asked the question. This is the moment. I said, Paul, his name's Charlie. Paul, leave her alone. It's the wrong girl. It was enough. He looked at me like that and then he come, right? 19-year-old fucking guy. I don't do robberies like street robbery. I just don't do that. I don't care what people do. It's just I don't do that. I don't like that. So he don't really know either. I forgive him as well. It's not, you know, it's a sad thing. You know what he was fighting. He's still low out there. I don't know how he's alive. He's still out. I see him not long ago in a hostel, you know, a shithole hostel in the back streets of fucking Peckham, Old Kent Road, something like that. I see him. This is years later, 15 years, like now. Like this was back then. This was 16 years ago. This is the thing that got me into where I'm at now. But so he comes to me. We didn't get half a mile round the block. She went to the bus stop. She was going to work at a big department store. And that's how we know that the depositions, the statements. 2 black ladies, lovely ladies, old girls was there. I said, you all right, love? She went, no, they've attempted to rob me or whatever. They phoned the police. So there's 2 people, Charlie and me, peeled up, right? We've gone round onto Campbell New Road. Whatever she told them, it must have been like something bad because they had guns, right? And I'm half out, peeled up, which if I don't take, I could have got shot easy. On the floor. Like, it's like, what? I want out 24 hours. I like saying the word, like I felt it was like a God moment. It was a moment that I was out 24 hours. You're 33 now. Whatever, 34. Can't remember. 33, 34, whatever it was. And this shouldn't be this, right? I've got money, I've got gear and crack. They've got that because I'm not aware, because I'm so peeled up. I'll put it in between my cheeks. That's what we used to do to hide it, you know. You can't have it in your pocket. They'll search you and find it. They found everything. They found the money, they found the gear. And again, it's like, oh my God, this shouldn't happen. Now I looked at Charlie. I knew he wasn't capable of conversation. I could see. Right, then he was shouting through, "Oh, Joe, I'm sorry. Like, I took 70 odd Valium," and I'm in the cell going, "Oh, you should have fucking told him. You know, you should have said he should have got me off because I genuinely weren't doing it. You know, I don't do that. So, and I had the money, but the pills was, and I can't blame him. So ultimately, what the judge, just his point is talking what happened through that. But let me tell you what happened on remand in a minute. I was like a maniac on the prison. Right? I stabbed 3 geezers on the yard.
What?
Yeah, that's a big story. What everyone knows. Stabbed them on the yard. That was during that. I'd had enough. Right. And,
3 separate incidents.
No, once on the yard. I'll tell you about it. This was during this period, right? So Charlie saw that I was going a bit wild. I robbed immediately in reception. He was with me. Robbed someone off the phone and their money, £20 note and a phone. I give Charlie the £20. I got the phone, right? The phone's worth a lot. I managed to get it through, right? It was just crazy. But Charlie felt bad. You know, once he straightened up, he didn't say it was him. He didn't say the story because he didn't. He was out of his nut. He's not capable of expressing himself. Like, the police knew I weren't involved with it. Even she knew because I stopped it because I said, Paul, leave her alone. It's the wrong. But they're not worrying about fucking me. Their job is to convict me because what the fuck am I doing out at 4:20 in the morning fucking going to rob someone. I weren't going to rob her. I'm with him. I stopped it, but I fought it because of that. I always went guilty, apart from the ones I didn't go guilty on. That was only I had about 3 trials, got not guilty, and 1 18 months that I got it down from. From all the burglaries, which I didn't do. This crazy life, crazy experience. So I had to go through with the trial, and I remember a couple of people in the jury. There was like, yeah. Like I knew, when you got them, but like in the end, they must have said, look, when they asked the question, why did you call him Paul? And his name Charlie. I couldn't deny it. I said, I'm living this life. I'm living this shitty drug addict's fucking life. And Charlie was dead. He'd already gone guilty. So it's just me fighting it. And there was some sympathy, not a lot, but the judge acknowledged it. He said, but however, I still got to give you 3 years. So I got the same, which I was lucky, because normally where he got 3 years, when you go not guilty in England, like anywhere, they don't like it. So I should have got 6 years. But because they could see I didn't fucking do it, and I do have to go to prison for it. So it just felt like, so as a result of that was when my rage got worse. So I'm already a maniac. At times I can, control things. I was a good talker. I could get my way, and people knew me to be a good negotiator. But for silly things, not in business, which these tools, what you was talking about, how we change and turn the psychological around to like how we can work, how can we bring it out into society. Like I didn't know how to do that at this point. And so yeah, I went completely crazy. Also, just quickly, right? I remember when I went jaundice yellow. This is for fucking people to just see, right? This weren't good. I get nicked. I'm on the exercise yard. I don't know I got any hepatitis, right? Because now I've got rid of it and I've had the treatment for it. That's all years. This is all these years now where I'm in recovery, so to speak. I'm not in recovery. I'm in life. They call it recovery. They call it, I'm just where I'm at in my life is 15 years transformation. Just keep helping, keep moving into a good life. I'm living a good life. I've got an amazing life. But someone looked into my eyes on the exercise yard. He said, your eyes gone yellow. So I go straight off the exercise yard, go, look, bang, fuck me. I got shot immediately with like a luminous yellow. The medics see me, bang, straight down to the hospital. They had to fucking isolate me. No one, no, I felt like a fucking rapist. They put me down into the end cell, like just luminous yellow. I remember scratching like that, big lumps come up, just oh my God, right? Terrified I was. And I was so lucky, because if I weren't in that situation on a Friday, right, to go to look, I could have been in a situation where I wasn't in court, is what I'm saying, and I had a court date. Lucky I was in that court, because when I went to my local court, a doctor happened to see me walking by in a magistrate's court, where I'm just going to go up, get remanded in custody, go back. I'm not going to any fucking hospital in prison, right? And they're not helping me. I just was going into their hospital. They didn't know what was wrong with me. So do you see why I was lucky the doctor to see me? He said he's got to go to an outside fucking hospital. Lucky that happened, because then I went. Matthew Kelly, the old fucking presenter in London, he was doing his program. I was fucking like an animal. Get me the Valium, right? And they had to have screws to me, so they had 3 screws and 2 screws like at certain times, handcuffed me there like that to the bed and stuff like that. That was just a horrible experience, is what I'm saying. And I went back to prison because I had 2 of the most biggest dogs you could ever imagine. The first 2 didn't give me no fluid, a drink, or nothing. So when the next one came in, he was an SO, a nice prison officer. He went to the 2, have you given him a drink or anything? Give him a sandwich? They went, nah. He went, you horrible bastards, come with me, son. And he took me downstairs to the King's College Hospital, no, St Thomas's Hospital, and spent a tenner on me. So lovely. When my mum comes, I phone my mum. Mum, it's always mum you turn to. Mum, if you got one, if you're lucky enough. It was just nice. I said, he's done that for me, Mum. How's that? She went to put money in his hand, and he went, no. So he was nice. But the last 2, I just fucking smashed the place up. Like, they was irritating me so much, the way they was talking, the attitude they was talking to me like a sergeant major. And I went, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Something I can't even remember. I just remember getting the table next to me and just throwing it around because I was handcuffed. I couldn't do nothing. My mum was there. And I went, fuck off, like that. And he took it. I said, take me back. So I went back in that attitude, and they was all fucking scared. You know what I mean? I was going, take me fucking, I want to be looking at you another 8 hours. went back, carried on the madness. And so the bit we're going to the 3 years, that was my last sentence. It's pointless, honestly, going into fucking all that, because that was the mad. There was a lot of other stuff. There's stuff that, went on, but same type of pattern. There was no murders. There was nothing.
What was the circumstances of the stabbings?
Yes, what I was getting to right now. I was getting to right now. This was the last. So because Charlie, he didn't know what he was doing, I go onto the yard. It was over nothing. Little do I know, we've got on now Brixton Prison. When you go there, and it's say all the vans from all over London or wherever take you to one place, and then you all go Brixton. When you all got your bed kit, and they open the door to the wing, if you don't know, if you're first time, you're going to look out to a jungle. You've got 300, 400 people, and it's just madness, just shouting. Everyone's running around for drugs, for something. New people coming in, so you're always sniffing for the new person. It's chaos. I don't know, when I think back at it, it's like you're out. You're out. It's like you're out from 6:30 to say 8. So you have showers. You got people that have got their cleaning jobs in a stable, but that's only 10%. You've got all us lot, and the door keeps turning around. Everyone's new coming in, and everyone's looking for drugs. That's when a lot of bad shit happens. A lot of bad shit. And I've had my moments amongst that. Who's got gear, who's got what, and I'll keep my eye on certain things. But my madness when I've got into my cell. And it was within a week this happened of me. Within 1 week this happened. So I know a lot of people now, don't I? I'm from Brixton. I'm in my early 30s. I know a lot of people, right? I'm looked at a little bit like a nutter, like a bit unpredictable. That was the word they had on my file. But others just knew that I don't care. I used to take hits in prison, silly fucking things. Like someone says, I'll give him a clump or do something and I'll give you a bit of gear. Like hit, we used to call it contracts. It wasn't. Not like the way you stab and kill someone. That's happened in English prisons, yes, but that wasn't what we was doing, or me. You'd say to me, look, I want him done, and I'll give you a £20 bit of gear, or I'd give you this. It wasn't professionally done. It was just nutters all together. Someone wanted, because someone didn't like him. He'd done something, and I'd hear it, and I'd say, I'll take it. And I'll go into the cell and I say, what's that? What do you want done then? What is it? And then sometimes I say, no, I said, you think I'm I weren't stupid, but occasionally there'd be ones I'd take. So I took a couple. Anyway, this time here, and it's mad. Listen to the names: Terror, Soldier Mark. They're brothers, right? They're two terrorists out of Brixton. Terrorists, scary boys, especially Terror. Soldiers as well, but I'm not scared of none of them. I've known them for a long time, right? They tried it at first when I didn't know one of the brothers. Someone give me in prison, in the cells, someone give me an eighth of crack. He'd had an ounce, so when he went to court that after 1 week, everyone knew he had crack. He gave me the last eighth of it to go back to. So I said, is there anyone you want me to give anything to? He said, no, it's yours. But when I fucking got back, they was all on the phone to him. He got bail. Who did he give it to? See my surname. I was looking for the card. So that's how I got he said, I want some. I said, you're getting fuck all. I said, as a matter of fact, I'm giving it all to my cellmate. I don't smoke it no more. Because I was doing it on the foil because they all pipe. So I said, I don't even want it, right? So wait until the morning. But then when they heard my family, who my family name is, they didn't fancy it, right? In the morning. So those that come up in the morning and heard the old man, which weren't my family, it was my sister's family, my sister's husband, who had the name, the face, yeah? But I was little when my sister met him. Do you understand? And they got married. I was married for 30 odd years. So the point is I was known as the little one. So the nearest I had for a father figure was George, was that man who was married to my sister. So that family was well known. So by the morning, when they realised, and I had them coming to my door going, sorry, didn't know that. I said, fuck off, you fucking dog. Because it was old, when you look at 60-year-old man wanting a little crumb of crack, come with all the hounds, the pack of them. And then when they realised, because I weren't having it, I could have got hurt. Most people would have got hurt for that. They would have got taken off. But I was lucky because as the door was closing up, I knew what I was doing. I just waited and banged the door at 8 o'clock. So, then it was all done out the window. So lucky it weren't when the doors were open and I'd had they wouldn't have cared where the fuck I was from. It was crack. But I'd done it. I got away with it. I was lucky. So as I say, next day, I'm saying to them, you ever come like that again? And they're like, oh, sorry. I said, the old man all for crack. Like, it's like, I fucking end up that way. I am like him, just younger, But terror, anyway, it turned out that this is the situation. All what happened was he was going to the chapel. All what happened was he was going to the chapel to go into church. Some yardie fella was there. He was all right, but I tell you, after, they weren't. They were nice dudes, but they was wanted for 3 murders, and they had 9 crack houses running around London, and there was 11 or 12 of them on this landing. I didn't know. So what do? I'll tell you what I'll do in a minute.
Oh, God.
Terror goes down there because he's scatty as well. He's 6'5", Terror, so he can handle his height, and he's big, and he's like ruthless. He goes to go past this yardie. He stops. He says, I'm here. And it went to like on the yard. Went like that. So that's only like, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By the time we're talking, 4, 6, 8 o'clock, bang up, it's happening on the yard. I thought, I better help. It's not my fight. But that happened a couple times, but this was the worst one. So I made up a couple little things, 2 things. I had one that was pretty nasty, and had a not the razor, what they do, that's not enough. But it wasn't that good. Really, it was all right. I had this other little thing that I pointed out about 5 inches. That was all right.
Where'd you get the metal from for that?
In the prison. It's in Brixton. It's like it's open. It's not like locked in. Like there's the metalwork. I got it off someone. I can't even who. Like I made up the what they do. Use a tooth thing. I didn't use that. I used some other little implement which was a bit bigger, but the same. So I put like a few razors on it though, instead of I just got 5 or 6. I can't remember. As I'm doing it, maybe four of them I got on, and I put it there, and I had this nice little thing, which is it's a tool. It's a shank. It's a shank, American boys. It's a shank. So everyone was saying, right, it's going off. It's going off with the English, the blacks, all together in the team against the yardies, right? Mate, when it went on the yard, no one fucking went forward. The only person that started it was Terror, the one who had to fight with the yardie. But as I was looking, I could see they was a group, but I didn't know the story, what they're in for, what's happening. They were organised. They weren't no idiots. And so Terror has his fight. People are all looking like around, like going to do something. I slowly get up like an idiot. I start going up like that, and then as I've gone nearer, I'm just watching the situation. Then a second man comes in for Terror, goes to steam into Terror. The main one he's having a fight with goes to hit him again. Then his cellmate, Terror's cellmate, I was surprised at because I really didn't expect him. He was one of the last people that I thought that would have run in and helped Terror. Because everyone else was all talking shit. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So as I've walked up and it's all kicking off with Terror and him, another yardie comes in and this fella goes in to help Terror. And that's when I go in. But I see someone behind with a fucking thing like that. I don't know where he got it from. He comes down on Terror's cellmate. It caught him there and I luckily got him because it's the one that had the big thing. I hadn't seen anything like it. I don't know where he got it from, but it was that big. Everyone saw it. So as he went like that, poor kid, he steamed in, he went to help, but he actually just got it below the eye. I just fucking went in, bang, bang. It was actually more. The truth is, it was more because I had the 3, which was the stab, but the cut as well. So because it was on the exercise yard, that weren't a good situation, right? Because it was on the exercise yard and there's so many people, because the crowd, there's only 2 screws prison officers on the yard. So this means it's an open deal, right? But they panicked. And they opened the doors. So it's coming up to lunchtime. I had no option but to do what I had to do. I went even more crazy because then geezer come up to me and went to me, you know who they are? I went, no. He went, they're this and this 3 murders. They wanted. I went, fuck them. Fuck off. I didn't see you on the fucking yard. Oh, do you see who they are? Trying to scare him. I went, fucking. So I knew what he meant though. So that made me go even more. So then the first thing I'd done, because everyone's going back into the prison on the 4s, but they're at the top 4s. Ground 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm at the first floor. They're at the 4th. I just got to go for them. So I went and got hot water in a bottle, in a jug thing. I got that. I'm just showing them, right? I went as I've got this hot water going on there. I seen one fella over there. I knew, or I thought was connected to him. He wasn't. He wasn't connected. He was sitting up on the thing. I just went straight up to him and bang, whacked him, and he just fell back like that. Then it was like, then everyone's got, it's like off. I then went upstairs, so it's a vibe that I'm not sure where else it was kicking off, but I knew what I was doing. I went up to their floor. As I've gone up to their floor, then I see them all leaning against the thing as I'm walking up. The main one's come round to me, he went to me, bang. So I took a left hook. I said, is that all you got? It's the only thing I could say, to swing it. To go back down the stairs again. I went back down the stairs, then got the fucking jug, and then just threw it at the next person. And that's when all the screws come along. And they didn't touch me. They didn't touch me because I was frothing so fucking much. All that was coming. And they said, let him calm down, because they heard I got a left hook. I found out after. They were a bit racist, them lot, because it was black geezers. I'm not. So, like, I heard him say, like, black geezer. Like, old racist screws. So I got away with it like that because, like, it's like I weren't thinking of colour. I just fucking had to knock these fuckers out, whoever they were, colour. But what I'm saying is they didn't grab me up. How I know that, whether it's race or no, gives a shit, I don't know. But I'm saying what I thought the situation was, because I got a clump. He heard that I got a clump. So I've just defended myself. That's what he heard, right? And they was all around me. And everyone's around me going, he's fucking maniac. So that followed me then. That went all round. They already knew I was a bit scatty as it was. Didn't need anyone. Didn't go in with anyone. Didn't pair up with anyone. Weren't in any groups. Weren't in any gangs. Fuck the gangs. I know it's all shit anyway. I even knew gangs was shit when I was in it. Gangs didn't do nothing for me. Gangs didn't help me. I mean, any camaraderie. We was all trying to rob each other. Some of us that didn't try would genuinely try. They would fucking do something. And you know the lifestyle, so you just don't work with them again.
So the guys you hit then, did they retaliate?
That was the day. That's what happened that day.
There wasn't another retaliation after that?
No, because then they took me straight away, because I was the instigator, wasn't I? Me and Tara went straight down the block. We went straight down the block. Didn't come up after that.
Didn't bump into them again?
No, because they didn't let us back up, because we're down. Now we're in the punishment bit now. Tara, me, when Tara said, he's happy that I was there. I weren't particularly happy about anything. But I just was down the block, whatever. They keep good order and discipline. They keep it there for a while. There's no set time, because come on. And I went in there. I'm fucked, mate, to the governor. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, I just felt threatened. I said, I've had enough. So when I calmed down, I just told him. I said, I don't know where the fuck I am. I said, I've had enough. I was out one day. I said, I'm back in here now. And I just went on a low one like that. It was an act. It weren't true. It might have felt or looked true. It was true to a point, but it wasn't enough for me to let go. Do you understand? I just had to do the next bit down the block. And I preferred it down there, because you can't leave me in a cell by myself. I want to have a fight with a fucking table. Something's going to happen. It felt like my mind, it felt like something, I need to do something. So it was about, because that was when I got the 3 years and the last one. When I then settled down, it was about 6 weeks, and then I got onto the wing, and they give me and I had to prepare getting me on the wing. They had to sit down and say, called me Julian, my first name. I don't normally do that. Are you going to calm down now? I said, yeah, I don't really start. It's only been occasionally. He said, well, not quite here, son. We've had you over the years since you come in at 21. I didn't know that. They got a file on me since I was 21. Not like no heavy, like gangster. Nothing like, everyone's got a file, haven't they? Every fucker's got a file. And mine was unpredictable. Approach with caution. You don't know if he's going to react. Yeah, and then that was like, and then I went forward to the trial and then get the guilty. But by that time, though, I'd had the drug dealers on the wing. They all heard what I'd done. I was getting drugs off them anytime I wanted, literally. Like that, I'm not exaggerating that, because in prison, you're fucking going for little bits. And some people bought butter on heroin to make it run more. It's pathetic. It really is. It's like you're getting, say, a £10 bit on the street is like £2 in prison. Such a tiny, minuscule. It's pointless doing it. So they get the butter, 2 or 3 of them, to run it. It's, it's sad. the heroin, the crack, just strangling everybody, grown men. I wouldn't take that. I was going straight to the dealers who had it, you know what I mean? And I'd fucking kick their door. Some of them say, see you in the morning. And then because I've had the history, what happened there, when that goes around to another wing and another wing, I've cut 25 geezers over there. I've dismembered one. His head's in my fucking pocket now. You know, it exaggerate. You know, his leg's in my fucking other pocket. You know, so I remember I had 3 dealers, you know, so I was just medicating. Had the trial, got the guilty, and then went finally to the prison where it was called a RAPT, Rehabilitation of Addicted Prisoners Trust, which I wouldn't. People like say they saved my life. Yeah, they're good. They was there. You know, for that, you can go into the treatment bit. It's the 12 steps, but they don't work the 12 steps, right? They do the best they can with what they've got, but they try and say the 12 steps because that's the program, but they weren't working it because you can't work it. You know, you just go to the meetings, and the meetings is like a place of therapy, which the 12 steps was not about therapy, for instance. So like, it doesn't matter, you know, you're in a safe place, yeah? If you want to be safe, and if you want to not be involved with drugs, because the prisons have got drugs in it. In England, we've got drugs everywhere. And I just am my own man enough to go, just, all right, I want to have a breath. I want to have a breather. And pick the Mount prison it was. They were good. The staff in there, like the drug workers and a couple of the staff was very friendly. That they showed you could work with each other, you could talk to each other, you could talk by each other's first names, so you could begin to see, like, you know, this is a long time coming. I can see the prison officers are kind of not too bad. You know, they're people. You know, it's all nuggets of bits that slip into place. You realise not everyone's bad or dog or, you know, whatever my language was. And then the final moment, what happened was someone promised on that wing, the drug-free wing, they promised me a bit of gear on the weekend. Now, we're all in the drug-free bit. This is the treatment program, and he's going to have a visit. My faults. I was clean. My faults. Then I started realising this isn't about drugs. I think it's about the drug. There's the drug. But it's obviously not about that. It's about my mind. I didn't see the connection, how simple that connection is, but I didn't see it. And I remember thinking very deep in my cell. He's going to get big here. Each day that goes by, hello, my name's Julian, I'm an addict. Because that's what you got to say in there. And then finally, on the day of the visit, he gets the drug. I go round to his cell. He was coming to see me every day before that. He gets the drug, he turns. I go to his cell, he's got some fella in there. And he goes, oh, hold on. I said, who the fuck are you talking to? I just opened his door and went and sat down. And he just looked, because normally he wanted me to get out. I said, who the fuck are you talking to? All week he's been promising me, this is what I thought. So then I just sat there like that. He's only a little fucker, you know, some kids had some fucking mouthy, you know, little rat. He turned out to be a rat, turned out to be a paedophile, all sorts. We didn't know. You know, they throw you in. They're throwing these in now. They're throwing the paedophiles in amongst the prisoners now. It's not like separate as it was before. You know, now they're everywhere, you know, and he turned out to be a whatever. So as his mate went, I went, so what are you saying then? And he said, well, look, I've only got a little bit. I said, you're talking shit. He went, no, listen to me. He said, I'll give you a bit for, say, you and Shaun, me and you. I went, I'll tell you what, keep it. That was the change. Because when I said keep it, fuck off. I could see that finally this has got me. I'm stone cold fucking clean, mind the language. I'm stone cold clean, and I can see that has got me by the Niagara Falls balls. And it's my mind. And it was just a weird moment. But then a lot of people was coming in and out, you know, some doing talks for AA, Narcotics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. Cocaine Anonymous is where I connected to at the beginning. And other people, you know, there would be the church people, there'd be all sorts of people, all lovely people. So as you begin to slowly see the truth, you see that people are nice. Not everyone's a mackerel. You know, my deflation is occurring. Spiritually, my true self is waking up. This is when the buzz occurs. This is if you don't get that buzz, if you don't make a decision and you're struggling with it, you're not going to have the spiritual change. All that means is you can see. You wake up. You wake up to I think people who don't do drugs have it as well. Either they're living in their way of thoughts, their patterns, their emotional nature, relationship. I don't think it's about drugs. You say, oh, I'm an addict. When you think about it, really, that's insane to be going every day, you're 10 years clean. I'm an addict. But be sort of based about like freedom is what this is about. But I learned, you go through the stages, you do have to do that. You have to go, you're an addict. You have to talk that stuff. It's a letting go. It's an admittance. So that's what happened in now. So then the next, 3-4 months, they said they'd never seen such a change in me. So all of a sudden, I remember being in a group, and now I'm like, you get your key ring or whatever, 30 days clean, 60 days. We're in a big group, right? And there's about 30 of us, geezers, like some younger, 21, some 50, 60, whatever. I'm 34, 35, whatever. And I remember saying once, all I want to do is care. Like I genuinely felt like I want to care, and I could say that in a group of people. It was a letting go. I didn't know I was doing it, but then they sent me to some rehab. But the bit before I went to rehab was a spiritual experience, right? All that means is, at the time, it feels like, fuck me, the blinkers are off. You have a moment because you're not in the madness. You're in a cell by yourself. And it's like someone said, God bless, as he was leaving, because this fella used to come in. He was really helping us. And someone said, that's all you've got. And it was just a thought. And that's all it was. And I went back to the cell, and the female who opened the door, who I thought fancied me, we all thought the females fancied us. That's how insane we are, the female prison officers. Because when you're early, you've got this self-centered view. So if someone talks to you, a woman, you feel, oh, she likes me. It's like a self-centered obsession with yourself. That's what the problem, bondage of fear and anxiety and depression, you're anxious. That was all the feelings associated with learning about, what addiction is, what any ism is, any ism. And I found really that I was pretty passionate. I found courage. I found that I wasn't really scared, because a lot of people are scared, like fears, how they reveal themselves or how relationship. I just felt like a buzz, because when he left and then she opened the door, I just went, please help me. No, I wasn't going to the altar. I was going to my true self, because in that moment, you couldn't have hit a place, and there was no drugs about it. Think about it. No drugs, no alcohol, no. It was me. I knew it was done.
Wow.
And it was an amazing experience. I knew it was done. Now, I've had it the last 2 years with my cirrhosis. I've had some medical stuff, some drugs around that, but nothing than that. Then 13 consistent years, and I'm talking about even a pill, you got to watch it, but I'm not in that AA stuff. I'm still connected. However, obviously my life has blossomed where it is, but I don't really would say now that if someone has one drink, I don't drink. I'm just saying, I wouldn't really put that on someone. Oh, that's a relapse. This is just a bit harsh. I think someone may need a prescription pill as long as they got their eye on it. You can't say abstinence to people that might not, they might need to take a prescription pill, which I don't. I'm just saying, But what happened was that from the blinkers come off, I felt it, saw it. And then it's just funny, as each step progresses, then I read something that spoke about varieties of a spiritual experience. And then it says, a change of feeling and outlook. It's not like Jesus is going to come down. He's my man. But however, mine was that shift. I could see my life was a lie. It was truth. I'm not bad. None of us are bad. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's genetic disorders. I think our life is when I was in my dad's bollocks, I don't remember that, right? And when it went into my mum and out I come, I think there was a lot of good there. There was some good, because I don't remember much as a baby, and apparently I was a very nice baby, like we all probably are. And at some point, my thinking went into parental guidance. And I looked at my life and I could see the reality of it. I could see I need to go work. I couldn't afford to be selfish. I couldn't afford that shit. Me? Oh my God, me, self-pity. Oh, I need to go back in the benefits. I want to live. I don't want to be on benefits. Get out and go and sign on. I ain't signed on in 17 years. I don't sign on. I'm self-employed. What happened? I went to the rehab. This time I knew that she is not going to be my wife. She's a maniac like me. Stay away from her. I went through the process. You got to get involved with the 12 steps because that's what the rehab system does. And I went through that, but very quickly I went to do I went for the treatment centres to help them. I went everywhere. I helped everybody. I was sponsoring people in the big book of AA, they call it, which Cocaine Anonymous adopted. Like, I was sponsoring more than anybody. There was a group of us, 5 or 6 of us, when we first went into Bournemouth area, and it was part of the recovery. So there was us lot. The rest was on the edges. You could see. Those that were serious, you could see. It's an observational environment. Everyone's self-centered anyway, because like early days, they're all talking shit and they're all banging each other. And it's what happens in that 12-step community. You got to be careful how you're bringing people, because my book's about that. Don't bring your daughter into them environments by herself, seriously, because you get men that are in there coming from prison with their attitude and they don't know what's going on. Anyone would say bad person, but we know that he's not really bad, he's just sick. However, you need to counteract that. So that's what my book is about, as well as other things. If you're going into that area and you're a family member and you've got a daughter, go with them. Make sure someone is part of that to go into these communities, because they're nut houses. AACANA. We love them. God bless them. There's a history behind it. Dr. Bob, Bill W. Great, lovely. But be careful. We're in 2019 now. There's different ways. If you go in there, just be careful. Go there bring your, that's why I do what I do. I don't do sober coaching in 12 steps. That's disgusting for me. No. Families based, don't get into and utilize a meeting. You don't go to, you advise, you work with the family outside of a place like that. It's all learning. Then I went to, counselling at school, and, then became a counsellor in Farnborough. Then I could see within 1 year that, the same communities, the same treatment centres, the same process, something needs to change. Families need to be more involved. I keep going on about families, and everyone's getting to know me now. To get, they want me to come and help their family. So it wasn't a so-called program I created. It was just something that I just fell into, and then intervention become. Out in the States, they got intervention 911. I trained with them dudes, good dudes. They go around the 12 steps community. Fine, I don't do that. I trained in it. And I just work in the real world. I don't work in the sponsorship and bring that to AA, because you get paid with that. This might help someone else, right? So step out of it. Get yourself a life. If you keep your foot in the door, good. But come out. Come into the real world. What about your family? My family, they needed healing. My daughter, I went to my daughter to give her an amends to her. Do you know the 4 years, whatever it was that I weren't there, I kept going backwards and forwards. I was up Bournemouth first for 2.5 years clean, and I'm thinking my daughter's all right, she's like at the time 13, whatever, and one day I thought, the moment, because I wrote down what I thought about my daughter, I thought she didn't miss much, right? This is what happened. The mother and me and her just friends now. She didn't let me in, the years I was on the gear when we fell out, and now I'm in the house, everything's fine. So I'm visiting, and I said, I just want a word with Alice. That's my daughter's name. And I'll never forget, 12, 13, I said, Alice, can I have a little word with you? She went, yeah. I said, do you remember when I weren't there, when you was 6? Do you know what she said? I was 5. I didn't even expect she was going to say it. I thought it was all right. She's a human person of 5 who remembered her dad didn't fucking take her to school. Do you get what I mean? She remembered. So I wanted to get it out of her, right? I wanted her to express herself. I said, oh, right, so you was 5 then. Well, how did you feel when, like other kids' dads was there and I wasn't? Because I got told these 3 or 4 years that I weren't there, like affected you kind of thing. And she went, I don't know, like that. And I felt, oh, God. I said, just try a little bit. And then as her mum come in, because she got a bit panicked because she see the emotion on her daughter, Alice shot into the front room and I went to her, what are you doing? I was just getting close to that. And then I just went into the front room. I said, as I went, what's the matter? I turned, she's crying her heart out. All I could do was hold her, and I held her, and I said, I'm never going to leave you again. That's it. Nothing else. No, sorry, I'm going to do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Crush our little fucking kids, hearts and spirits. No, it can't happen again. That's 16 years later now. You know, my daughter, she's in the city of London, 3 years working now. I've had a relationship with her right the way through. At 16, she didn't want to go back into college. I find out that 5 girls are pregnant in her college. That was the reason. I got upset. I said, why? The money situation. Your mum gets some money from the government through your going to school until you're 18. So I had to tell her you can't have your allowance. Oh, yes, I'm giving her an allowance, by the way, Shaun. I'm giving her an allowance. I didn't give her fucking nothing. You know what I mean? Drugs I was on. So now I'm in a position I give her money. But I said, darling, you can't leave college just like that. I said, in the next breath, I said, it's up to you what you do. However, I think that I should give your money to your mum because she gets paid up until you're 18. So what do you want to do? And we spoke through it. You know, she don't want to go to college because of this. And I could see she was right. Instead of me not listening to her. You know, I listen now. I listen. You know, she's too right. I don't want to around an environment, all girls, single parents. We got to change that. She's got help. Got help, you know. So I was there to help. And then I said, right, you got 1 year. I didn't say it like that. I said, it's up to you. But, you know, maybe you should like look at maybe a year of work. Maybe get yourself on like agency staff. And she did. She got 4 jobs in that year. And then like I observed it, you know, and then bang, she's been in the city now 3 years, into her 4th year. Single, 22. She told me off the last few weeks ago. You know what I mean? I ain't seen you for a while. Shit, I felt bad because like, you know, I've had this cirrhosis stuff, like, you know, and I had the hepatitis. That got cured. The underlying viral was causing it, which left it scarring. So I just go back twice a year. I had that's 5 years ago. But I was affected by the meds. I was taking a lot of meds for it. Not like bad, or it got me out thieving on the streets. But the pain, I had 3 cuts, lesions on my esophagus, a blocked bile duct, and the fucking cirrhosis. Stone cold clean. I started taking drugs, you know, not like going on the street and, you know, smoking crack. But I'm talking about where I was at. That was like, oh, I need to now. This is another area now. Oh, you know, and so I just, you know, I was traveling, work backwards and forwards. I'll go abroad a lot to work, interventions. I do family work. I take someone to this place, that retreat. I don't just take people to rehab. I take people to different places. I do in-house round the clock work. I'm self-employed, my own company now, 10 months. Don't mean a big company. I've got 500 employees. It's me. I create the work and then I employ. So now it's about what I think our viewers, our people should not just, you know, the experience is the experience, your viewers. The experience is, if there's an experience like this, you want to shift and change it. I don't care if you're an addict or not. Addict, that's the word. It's human people. We're in a time where, look around. It's all, you know, Brexit, you know, Trump. I don't give a shit. You might. I'm not interested in that. Brexit, I don't even really know what it's about. I don't really listen to it. If I listen to politicians, how they speak, they're not answering a question. So I will get pissed off very quickly because I'm a solution-orientated person. So I'll listen to you for a minute or two. You're going around my questions or whatever I ask. You're not really answering me. We don't know each other. So why am I wasting any brain space on that? Like Trump, I don't know him. You know, I don't know what he's done out there. I don't know what's happening. You know, all I'm seeing is war, darkness, TV. I don't even watch TV. I can't remember the last time I bought a paper.
When you see in the media terms like drug addict and depression, what do you think of those terms?
And you know what? It's just, that's why I'm in the middle of right this second. I got asked. I'll answer it. I got asked. I'm probably going to India to open up a brand new place, which means what an opportunity! It only happened 2 weeks ago. I'm working with someone. Then I was in India 2-3 years ago, and I helped a few people. And one therapist, young girl who's just completed her degree or whatever they do in India, she followed me up, and then I hadn't heard from her for a year, and then she phoned me about some lady whose husband's an alcoholic. She'd gone around India to try and get help. There's no real help. There's not many rehabs. Those that are, they don't do nothing. She said it feels like they're taking her money. And this brave woman who I'm about to meet, I've been on the phone with her, emails and WhatsApp. She when she gave me the number, and then I spoke to this brave woman. She told me the story, and then within 20 minutes talking to her, she told me she doesn't really know what she's doing. So I said, Said, you can't start. It's already June is opening up. She's put a price on a month, which is €1,200. I said, you don't know what you're doing. I said, what about your own structure? What about your own price? She doesn't know. So it just felt for her the right time. That's why the counselling girl probably told her about me, because I'd done training in her treatment centre. I trained the staff. Think about that, my story. I'm training people now. I'm training staff. I've been to the United Nations. How about that? To train their staff. How about that? United Nations. To train 20 odd people. And I've been places you wouldn't imagine. I've been in football clubs. I've intervened and worked with actors, Downton Abbey. I've been some A-list actors. I've been on private jets. What I do, Shaun, is just take a picture. Right, and just when I'm around people, I say, look, have a look at that. I don't need to talk nowadays. So I joke a lot. I have fun a lot. If I can get to a place where I'm at, and I'm telling you, we were saying about it, being on the cusp of a level where I want to go into places and not worry about fucking paperwork or giving some addict £10. I give them the money. You got the government funding suggests that we got to pass this on. The outcomes level in government. Fuck off. Like the money. Who's taking the money? Like if you've been given like 200 million, who's giving the money? So what I do, I give some of them money, 20 quid, not a lot. I don't spoil them, but if I get family members who've got money and we organise a plan for rehab costs, I will say, I'm the rehab. Let's do your detox first. Let's decide later in the 2 or 3 weeks when you sort yourself out with me, because if I wasn't doing this, I would have experienced my pain. No one understood what to do. All I do is just get nicked, go prison, rehab. No one told me what rehabs meant. No, I didn't know what to do. No one picked me up. You got to pick them up. You got to take them. You got to pick them up, and you got to hold addicts or vulnerable people or mental health for 2-3 months, because society are lazy and they don't want to do that bit, because no one wants to work round the clock. I work round the clock so much so my liver, my esophagus, I fucking end up all with stress. I didn't know. I really did. I've been like that for like 13 years, 14 years. I've been doing this work. More so the last 10, where it's now taking more effect, yeah? Taking more effect. Like, there's a lot of this type going on now, which a lot of people on the internet I've seen, they're earning money for it. These people watching us, they could earn money on that. A lot of the rappers have got people saying about the rappers, haven't they? A lot of podcasts talking about, the gossip, what's going on. There's ways now to earn money. We just got, like, if anybody, you said you can give my details to people, yeah? If anybody out there, phone me. Phone me. Because I will come and get you. Literally.
All of Julian's details will be in the description box below this video. So just click on the Show Me More.
Which I got, I'm sure we were saying, I ain't even got a Twitter account.
We're going to work on his socials.
We're going to work on that area.
So going back to the question about addiction then.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So like Russell Brandy says, I'm an addict. I can't even have a drink now because that will, oh my God. And the next thing I'll be smoking crack and shooting up heroin. Do you think people are addicts for life like that? He's labelling himself as an addict for life.
See, when it comes down to the personal experience, I think people, right, it's crazy, right? Because, do you want me to tell you what I think?
Yeah.
Alcoholics Anonymous had a history. Before Alcoholics Anonymous, before the 12 steps, there was a group called the Oxford Group. This was for alcoholics, not drug addicts. But they then kind of put it together. They say there's a physical component to alcoholism. One is what? Without drugs or alcohol, pretend you're clean. You have an obsessive personality, right? This is what they say. A mental obsession. If my thing is heroin, I have a mental obsession for heroin, right? I'm clean. I get out of prison. I promise I'm not going to do it again. That's all the information. But there's a physical bit for Alcoholics Anonymous in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, right? An allergic reaction. The internal reactions, once it's ingested, means I want more and have no control. I don't believe it. Because heroin, you take that for a week, you give it to Mother Teresa for a week, she'll want fucking more heroin and crack. Do you understand? It's your thinking. Now, why are you telling yourself you're an addict? Like, really, it's the only thing we got. We haven't got much else out there. What the underlying symptoms, they say spiritual malady. It's not, it's sin. But we don't want to use the word sin, do we? Because it's a religious word. Lust is going to kill you. If you think banging women till the cows come home and you're not having any ideals or belief system, right? And you don't believe in the process of good, then you're not going to feel good about yourself, whether you're an addict or not. You're, a woman, and she does the same thing, moral fibre. Her character, like that's why it's connected to your mind. It's not an addict. You're telling yourself, like, I don't know if Russell goes meetings every day. I don't think he does. I don't know if he's sponsoring people the way we sponsor people, because I know what we do in sponsorship. Or is it something else? I understand he's trying to help people. Thank God for him as well, for his own. I love him. I think he's really funny. But you're only doing, if you're not doing the work in your heart, you're not doing the work. The 12 steps is about taking someone else through it. You don't analyse yourself and go yoga for 15 years. Go and help someone new who's dying with fucking crack addiction, heroin addiction. That's where you're needed. Talking is talking. It's great. Most people do it. Don't want to put anyone down, but I'm in the trenches. Like, whether an addict, CA, NA or not, I don't associate myself no more to attaching myself to a label. I'm me. I want to be right with God conscious. Just means my true self. That's all that means. If I want to go to a church, I'll go to a church. I want to go over there. If I want to mix with Muslims, Catholics, I'll go and do that. But I'm certainly not attaching myself to anything. And to call myself an addict every day and you're 5 years clean, 10 years clean, I understand. A true alcoholic maybe has to, all right? Maybe they may have to. But you know what? Have a drink and see for yourself. Because the big book says, have one. Go to the local bar. What people do is, oh no, don't have a drink. That's bad. No, it's not. People drink. People use drugs. Why are they saying that? The book says, have a drink and let us know. So that means you'll know. If you have that drink by yourself and no one giving you misinformation, you'll know if that's got an allergic reaction to you. Heroin and crack cocaine, crack psychological, take it, see what happens. Have a bit of heroin, see what happens. Nice buzz, see what happens. So do I think weed? Do I think, no, it's not about that. It's about looking at your true self. What are you happy with what you got? So like, drugs is a symptom. Move it all away. I mean, let's just move away. That's why I'm not here to talk about like research or, what's real, like a real alcoholic, what's not. Really, that's for other people to look at, to study, to put the rats in the fucking thing, whether the rats has got things to play with or not. Like, my job is more about the first, getting them from using. This is my job, by the way. And then mediation and life coaching with the families. My job is to get that person, stay with them. You can talk advice and they're using and they're addicted to a drug. You can be addicted to a drug, but are you an addict? Do you understand? Yeah. You can be addicted to that, but are you an addict? Why are you telling yourself that? Try not to then. Let's give it a go. So then someone just might need an arm and say, do you want to come off this? Let's just have a go. You can talk really kindly to people. You don't fucking tell them off. It's if you have got an obsession, if you have a mental obsession, what someone else might say is depression or someone else might say something else. I do understand that. Because have you seen kids who have got terrible, what they call OCD or bipolar? I don't know, but have you ever heard of this one? Bipolar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who researched bipolar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I'm sure they did because they're out there. I've seen programs where, Parkinson's and MS. I've seen terrible fucking people who suffer so much with that. And then I've seen programs where they're researching. It takes years to get a drug, like in the pharmaceutical companies, to get it ticked off. Like, yes, it works. So that's not me. Like, great. We need people to do that. But my job is, what I said, is to simply get them, moderate them, because I'll let someone use drugs around me. A couple of days, though. You want to carry on using them, thanks, but no thanks, I'll go away. Because I'm not going to force anybody. But you get people that are desperate out there. That's why, we need to be what I want to create, a train, like a lot of interventionists, but in the real world, not in the 12-step community, because that's a small percentage, isn't it? The 12 steps. This is probably a first. A lot of 12-steppers are probably going, what's he talking about? Like, no, it's much bigger. What about your mum, dad, sisters, brothers? It's not about you and the 12 steps. It's about the community. The actual big book actually says to wives, to family after, to employers. Do you understand? But they miss it. They don't take it out, but a few do. A handful, which is a shame, because it tells you to get out into the community. Not turn it into group therapy and sit in meetings like it's group therapy and everyone gets together, don't they? They bang each other because you would. You go into a work environment, she might look, hello, and they get to know each other, might have an affair. It happens in the 12-step fellowship even quicker because like they're all just like Broadmoor. You know Broadmoor, the criminal insane hospital? Well, when they have the dance, the men and the women in the women, what do you think they do when they get together? They suck onto each other. They ain't seen a woman or a man for years. And it's just the way of the world, the way of man and woman. So do you get it? I go in. My job is to go and literally jump in the trenches with them. I can't say anything negative about anyone like who's a good talker, who can, you know, if Russell, for instance, and many other people, if their podcast and their work is helping, and it is, surely it must be helping someone, because a word or two at the right time is enough for some people to have a spiritual experience, to change. Where you go, well, if he can do it, but there's a, you know, what about the homeless? What about people that, you know, really truthfully disenfranchised, not just the people in the you know, the 3 million unemployed. Well, we're looking at just government. How about rich people, wealthy people? They suffer too. I've worked with wealthy people. They suffer tremendously. You know, we're so quick to judge. You know, I've been around them. It's so lovely. The mothers are always bastards, like in a nice way, I mean that. You know, they're protective of their children, you know, and it's too right, you know, but you've got to pull them into the group, because there's always issues amongst kids and the mums with whenever there's drugs and alcohol about. That's why somebody needs somebody in the family. That's why I'm trying to bring out a whole network of people that, if we're in London, instead of going, I think I said to one of the boys, the cameraman and that, if we're saying things like, oh, I'm sick, where do I go? A doctor. Yeah? What does a doctor do? Talks to you for 10 minutes. If you're lucky, he'll look at you, because he's on his computer normally, doing the prescription again. Prescription? Yeah, okay. He done it to me. And then I'm not talking to my doctor now, because as a result of my cirrhosis and stuff like that, I said to him, I'm taking meds. I need 5 days to detox. I can detox easy. I'm not running the streets like I used to. This is a medical condition what I've got. It's horrible. It's horrible. Especially with the esophagus and the bile duct. I needed painkillers. Simple as that. Yes, and if you don't eat for 2 days, you lose a bit of weight. And I went to him. My doctor, he couldn't even look at me. He said, "Oh, go to Turning Point." I said, "I'm private. I can buy more what I want." I said, "I've come to see you." I said, "You're useless." I said, "You give money, drugs to my mother." I said, I had to go. My mum's on so many fucking pills, and I had to go at him. I said, "I ain't come to see you again." And then, you know, social work, and I'm beginning recently, you know, like, it's like people just so quick to judge, jump in. It's like, what if I was someone who was coming off like prescription pills, you know, and like people just not talking to each other. All this, you can look at the social media as a thing that separates us again. You know, we're not talking like we used to, you know, like girls, women, men, boys. We're not communicating as such. It's all online, isn't it? How can you get to know someone online?
So what about people who are watching this video now and they're inspired by your story, but they're stuck in that cycle of drug use and they just feel like there's nowhere to turn? What would you say to those people?
Phone me up immediately phone me up. This is real. I'll fucking get to you. Or we'll work something out. We start communicating. I'll promise anybody that. I want to train you to train someone else. That's it. I'm not going to bring you... We look at what's out there. Psychiatrists, they hold support workers, mental health. The staff we got is nice. It's the best we've got. But we need the next step now. We need to change it, because it's not working, is it? Come on. It's not working. Everybody seems fucked. They're on a prescription pill. They're on something. You know, they're not free. The fear's too much. The anxiety's too much.
So have you got a web page then with all this contact information on it?
Well, I've got JX Interventions, but all we need is my number, basically an email.
Put your number on.
Put my number on anybody. I don't give a shit. Phone me up. We'll get you in groups. We work. All we got to do is get you through a detox. That's it. And we do it together. Then let's go out. Let's get in the media. Let's go on like Bob Geldof done fucking Live Aid. Let's do it with life, with humans. What are we scared of? That's my life. That's what I'm doing. You know, that's what I want. What about our kids that are coming up? You know, they don't even know they're coming into a culture where everything is external. Nothing is real. Like, it might be, they say things like, "I'm bored." Like, we weren't bored when we were growing up. When we were young, there was no fucking phones about. We had fun, didn't we? The only thing I had was Mayfair magazine. I didn't have fucking online porn all day. And you know what? Fuck porn as well. It makes me feel sick. Bigblackcock.com, sorry. But like that makes us all insecure. It must make the women who are all beautiful to women, normal human women. You know, fuck that. I don't look at that.
So going from this fast-paced life then to the life you're living now, do you ever miss the fast pace?
Oh no, but I'm fast anyway. I'm fast. What? Oh, of course. You've got me. This is like I'm doing thing for you here. So it's just a lot of stuff I ain't spoke about for years has come up because I haven't spoke for quite a while about the past. And just bits come up there like, oh yeah, it's just that I've remembered, and probably a lot when you think about after. But the whole idea of this is I just simply think to help someone else, and genuinely so, not like people say, and this is to help someone else. Well, I'll fucking do it. I will come to you now. I want to know your family. If you're not connected to your family, then I'll keep your confidentiality. If mum and dad, or you ain't got a mum and dad, you got whatever your story is, connect with me. Even if it's the phone to start with, even if it's whatever, you're abroad, if you're in London, England, better. In London, I'm from London, but I travel a lot. I'll come to you. I'm going to India, by the way, to open up a place for a woman whose husband's an alcoholic. This is how fucked it is out there. There's no real help. In India, this is what she said, and I've been out there, and a counsellor who phoned me, and I'm going out there to set up the whole structure of the rehab and the finance and the recruitment. How amazing is that? But I'm not going to bring it. I'm going to talk about life skills, entrepreneurial work, family, kids. Bring them all in. Get kids involved. You can't bring a kid into a rehab. Oh, everyone's so fucking serious. You know, I'm an alcoholic. Jesus, you know, life is about living. Before you know it, you're going to be at your death's door. Oh, is my life gone? Fucking reach out now.
Good point.
You know?
Yeah, what a strong note to finish this on.
Beautiful. Lovely.
So, if you're out there and you've been inspired by this powerful story, such profound transformation. I mean, I've just sat here riveted. Julian's energy has just kind of buzzed this whole room up for the past 3 hours.
Is that how long it's been?
If you've enjoyed, it goes like that, doesn't it?
Jesus.
If you've enjoyed these podcasts, then please put a comment in the description below the video. Let us know. Let Julian know how you felt about him and his story. If you've got a drug issue, phone him up, and he'll.
I'm looking for a companion as well. Yeah? No sex till we're comfortable.
Cheers, brother. Yeah, thanks very much, Julian. Cheers.
Brilliant, good stuff.